Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 13 Cards Subject to Change. Yes, I'm doing the intro this week because everybody hated Leroy's intro. Leroy, you are here, so why don't you let everybody know that?
Well, if everybody hated it, I'm going to do it again.
Well, that's kind of what you tend to do. People hate you, so they keep coming back to your life for some strange reason.
They hate me, they love me. I'll take anything I can get.
Right? So anyway, different sort of setup here today, everybody. Leroy, we have a bunch of new stuff in the kitchen. We also have a bunch of new people in the kitchen. So, ladies and gentlemen, Phil is out today. He is currently recovering from vertigo, which he suffered from the reason why we are currently doing this from Leroy's kitchen. Leroy, the current world right now has been split, I guess you could say, on the issue of the fact that someone has thrown the Big Show off of the top rope. He has cracked a hole in the earth, and it's just been causing problems. That's also why we're doing this a week late, is because you had some power issues.
Yeah, something like that. It kind of made a mess. I almost thought that somebody that is an ex fell, but no, it was Big Show that I heard. So I was a little relieved on that, kind of.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, official statement from the governor of Wisconsin. Everyone needs to be quarantined until we can figure out who tossed him off. The best guess as of right now is since Brock Lesnar is currently in Canada, it's close, so that's a good possibility.
I think very good.
Mark Henry, however, has been having a bit of a rage going on Twitter. We'll talk about that not on today's show, but on another show. And so there could be that. However, if you all were listening there's a little laughter going on. Ladies and gentlemen, Willie Harris is on the show today. Willie is a member of the 13 Card Subject Change family. Willie, how you doing?
I ain't dead yet. Tired of being stuck in the house, but hey, it's fun. It's fun.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have another special guest. Willie has actually asked to intro our special guest. Willie, who do we have on the show today?
Oh, you were serious.
Of course I was.
Seriously, baby, come on.
Of course I
The
was.
one, the only, Jimmy Lamoureux.
Oh, thank you.
Lamoureux.
Ladies and gentlemen, today on the show we have Jimmy Lamoureux. Jimmy is on the show today to help us cover one of our main topics. We'll get to that in a second here. But for the background here, Willie, you've been into wrestling for a while. You obviously didn't watch for a while, but we took you to some local shows, and you had a bunch of fun there. Jimmy, your background in wrestling?
Yeah. So, Jimmy Lamoureux from Superior, Wisconsin. First introduced to pro wrestling, the legendary TLC match.
Was it the one?
WrestleMania 17.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Edge spears Jeff Hardy while hanging from the belts.
Classic.
I lost my stuff when I was little. Couldn't stop watching after that.
Not as much as you probably lost it when you saw Coach Pop, but we'll talk about that a little bit.
Right. Favorite wrestler all time, Jeff Hardy. Kane is a close second because if you know Glenn Jacobs, he's a stand-up human being.
He is.
I wrestled in high school, which leads into something a little further down the line here.
So for those of you who are wondering, Jimmy is on the show because Jimmy is longtime friends with the current Money in the Bank men's holder, Otis from Heavy Machinery is the Money in the Bank winner. Today's first topic, we're going to get into the recap for Money in the Bank, but before we do that, I just want everyone to know, I'm really excited to have Willie be a part of the whole family here at 13 Cards. Jimmy, great to have you. I have rode up and down the road with these guys for, 7-8 years. We did this. We were in semi-pro football together. I coached, they played, and you want to talk about paying dues, ladies and gentlemen. There ain't no more paying of dues than an 8-hour car ride to get your ass kicked.
Put in them hours,
10.
Bring home the gold, baby.
Oh, well, it was 10 hours because Willie had to find a buffet.
Hey. I can't suplex on an empty stomach.
That's fair.
That is true. I agree with you on that one.
Big shout out to all the guys from that team. A lot of years with those guys. We didn't win for like the first 5, but we definitely turned that around in 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Grizz Army, Grizz Nation all day long.
There
Some
you
claps
go.
to the Ric Flair.
There we go. Anyway, so on today's show, everybody, we have a packed show that I think is going to be the best one so far. It's going to be probably the biggest up and down emotional one we've had, so strap in and get ready because a lot of emotions are going to fly, and we're really excited to have you all here. First and foremost, as of now 2 weeks ago, we have passed on. The Money in the Bank ladder match occurred, the pay-per-view as well. The Money in the Bank ladder match was live from Titan Towers in Stamford, Connecticut. The rest of the show was held at the Performance Center. Leroy, would you like to go ahead and recap the show for us?
Well, all the matches? All right, here we go. First, we got Jeff Hardy against Cesario was on the kickoff. Hardy got the win there. Tag team match, New Day, Miz, Morrison, Forgotten Sons, and Lucha House Party. New Day was successful there. R-Truth and supposed to be MVP, but Bobby Lashley came out and, well, hey, Lashley got the win. But it was very entertaining.
So good.
SmackDown Women's Championship, Tamina. Bailey pulled one out again.
Pulling out is probably something we'll be talking about a little later on the show, but you know what?
Go
on, Leroy.
Thank you. I appreciate that for the
There we
reference
go.
there. All right. Universal Championship, Braun against Bray Wyatt.
Well,
Braun won that one.
Can we also point out Bray Wyatt? I want to repeat that. It was not the Fiend.
Yes,
it
not
was
the
the
Fiend.
Mr.
Bray
Rogers
Wyatt.
looking Bray
Yes,
Wyatt.
Yes,
yeah.
not the Fiend.
So, once again, I just want to point out what I love about the current thing with Bray Wyatt is, and again, Vince McMahon did say that he is taking a special interest in Bray Wyatt because he feels like he failed the original Bray Wyatt character. Jimmy obviously loved the gimmick and didn't see it go anywhere.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, I love how the Fiend is being protected almost. I mean, the Fiend's not necessarily out there every single pay-per-view. The Fiend is out there as sort they're actually building to the Fiend, which I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah, they are doing a good
What's
job.
your take on him, though? To me, he's kind of more of like a psychotic version of Dude Love.
you know, that's okay. I've seen the man's pants. I'm not going to deny that. Here's my thing. The Fiend, in my opinion, when I first saw the Firefly Funhouse, I think I speak for everyone when I was like, oh my God, I think Vince has literally forced someone to do something that they, in no God conscious, wanted to do. However, I will say this. I think it works, The Fiend, only because The Fiend is an alter ego, which I think works for the Bray Wyatt character. And also, what is great about The Fiend is Bray Wyatt, in my opinion, has always been better when he doesn't do live promos, when he does sort of those, I don't want to say scripted, but when he does those pre-shot promos, when he has time to sort of edit them and stuff. Because remember, when he was in the Wyatt family, most of the promos for the Wyatt family were done not live on TV. They were pre-taped.
Yep.
And I think when he's pre-taped, he has a different sort of energy than when he's live, especially now.
I just kind of feel like he's like a creepy Mr. Rogers. You know,
Blues Clues on acid.
well, yeah, there we go. For the different generation,
Look.
you know, my generation was like, yeah,
Shrooms.
if we were lucky.
Look, they just got to execute on the character. I mean,
Yeah.
so many legendary people back in our day when they were, they would execute tremendously. They just got to execute on the character. They know how to do it.
And I want to point out, he hasn't really broken character yet.
Right.
He has stayed psychotic both when he's been the Fiend and when he's been Bray Wyatt. Now, it's funny, we'll actually talk about the Fiend a little later because I guarantee it's on one of our future topics here, but that's story for another second. Also on the show, Leroy, we had three more matches there. What do we got?
And I said, Bray won. Braun Strowman run that one. All right,
Yep.
then went Drew and Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. And
I love Drew.
Drew
right now.
won that, and then
I love Drew. They are building him as a great babyface champion. He's big. He's
done
strong.
well.
His first successful defense.
He's so... Drew McIntyre is finally what I think he was supposed to be when he first got there. He's big, he's strong, he finally looks the part. I don't care what anyone says. You have to kind of look a certain way in this business, especially when you're... And again, reports have come out that they've been so impressed, and Jimmy, you just pointed out that was his first successful defense.
Yep.
They're so proud of him right now that they've decided that they're going to turn him into a new John Cena, whereas he's kind of going to always be in the title picture, even when he doesn't win the belt.
Yeah, he's been here for a while. When he first came on the scene,
He's earned it.
You could tell he was thin. He was kind of thinner.
He was
I
like
thought he was small.
He's like 20-some years old.
He was small
He's
then.
6'5", by the way.
Yeah,
No.
I thought he was small, but I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, he got built up.
He
Yeah.
looked a lot smaller when he was,
He was also a kid, and I think that's why.
Right, yeah.
And and also to be honest with you, I mean, people call me crazy, but you look pretty small next to a guy like Jinder Mahal because people forget how big Jinder Mahal really is.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a freak.
Yeah. I really do hope that
Phone
when they finally fix the crack in the earth and like Big Show gets up off his fat butt, I really hope that Heath Slater can come back to WWE, get really swole, and then they have a big triple threat match against the former members of 3MB.
There's those out there who was able to convince the Big Show to get up there in the first place.
To be fair though,
I don't know if it was
Box of
convinced.
Twinkies.
Probably was.
was he
that could have
convinced?
been.
To be fair,
Or
okay,
he was just
okay, Jimmy,
thrown
let's
up
analyze
there or
that for a
something.
second. think about the culprits: Mark Henry, Brock Lesnar, guys of that caliber. No, it's not hard for guys like that to convince you to go up. To go up, they'll do it themselves.
Fair
Mark
point.
Henry from Willie's sort of neck of the woods down there in Texas. Shout out to Willie's hometown.
Stand up, gentlemen.
I'm actually related to him.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you told me this once before.
Don't you do
It's
it.
married into the family.
Really?
Don't
Cool.
Are you messing with us right now,
No.
Willie Harris?
I'm serious. That's a heart attack.
Don't do this to me, boy. For real? Oh,
Like, met, him at,
Oh.
met him at the family wedding, got to hang out with them, watched them dance around with the kids, and then just happened to walk by and was like, damn.
Mark is the man. I can only imagine seeing the size of
forearm
that
is
human
as big
being.
as my
Yeah,
head.
dude.
That's about.
Like looking at him, like this is the world's strongest man. Like look at him, he's got to be.
That
It's
ride
like
along,
at that time,
He's
I'm barely
huge.
breaking like 5'2", and then to look up and see somebody whose arm is almost the entire size of your body is just, I wouldn't
It's
say
im-
humbling, but
At that time in his
Impressive.
in his prime. In
Oh.
WWE.
not even impressive. It's
Yeah.
and that's the thing.
disrespectful.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. Mark Henry is actually one of those guys where he came in, they gave him a gimmick, but the gimmick's based on real life. The man is one of the strongest men to ever live. He's broken more records in weightlifting than I can remember, and he's just and he can still lift. By the way, I want to point out the man
Yeah, of
the man can
course,
still
yeah.
crush Willie's head like an apple.
Right.
Yeah, no, gotta catch me first.
All right, Leroy. Two more matches that are going to lead us into a future topic. Now we have left the Performance Center. Leroy, where are we now in the pay-per-view?
Oh, we're at lovely Connecticut. I don't know how lovely Connecticut is.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah. But
When
the
has
old
anybody referred to Connecticut as lovely?
just about as often as we consider New Jersey as lovely too.
Oh, so you like licking the back of toilets?
No, not really. I'm not that
I'm just
dumb, and I
kidding.
do
Jersey
not.
ain't that
I'm not.
bad.
Well, all right.
Yes, it is.
I know. Some,
But we can be grateful WWE headquarters is there.
Yes.
In
They gave
Connecticut.
us-
true.
And they
In
gave us
Connecticut.
this.
Titan Tower.
gave
you
us
know,
that, the best
and it
thing
was
to ever
a
come out of
fun,
Jersey.
A unique concept, let's say.
but
Yeah,
Bon
very
Jovi
unique.
was the best thing to come out of New Jersey. All right, well, going
Watch
back.
your mouth.
Hey, I grew up in the '80s. Sorry, hey,
Oh.
that's how I feel.
Only a 2.5
That's
hour
all right.
show, boys.
Great
Calm
hair
down.
showing.
All right.
Calm down, boys.
Well, we had the good women's and men's ladder match at the same time,
Same exact time. For
starting
the first time.
in two different spots, and
on the ground floor. by the
it
way.
was very interesting. And well, the winner, Asuka, for the ladies,
Yep.
and I'm proud, and I think all of us here are very proud
Local boy.
of our local boy Otis winning the match at the end. And it was kind of an interesting way. AJ and Corbin were up there and
Fumble fingers.
fumbled the fingers, dropped it, and boom, he caught
And
it.
to all you
So-
marks out there who are like, "Oh, WWE made something stupid," I want to point out, Destination or not Destination S, but Ultimate X in TNA had a win like that one time. AJ Styles actually was the winner of Ultimate X when I think it was Chris Sabin dropped the X and AJ caught it. So it's like anyone out there who's like, "Oh, WWE's doing something stupid." Impact did the same damn thing. It's not like it's unique to
It's the rules. You got to
anybody.
go up and get the briefcase, but you have to actually hold it in your hand.
And for anyone,
Right.
and for anyone out there who's like, "Oh, Asuka didn't," well, Asuka was the only woman conscious at the time, so there's a big difference.
And
Ding,
she,
ding, ding.
And she kicked the king off the ladder, which I thought was great and funny.
To be fair,
Which is always
to be
good.
fair, he threw two men off the roof.
Well, yeah, to another roof. Yeah, it was only about 6
Can I
foot
throw in
drop,
two
sorry.
things for this?
Yes, you may.
Yes,
So-
go ahead.
Very, very happy that he caught that. He was a lineman, okay?
Was he?
Very happy he caught that case.
Yeah.
And
Not a lot of fumbles in
Can-
his career.
He's got rock hands. Dude, it is what it is, you know. And can we? Because it was a new thing for all of us. Can we go around the circle and pick out your favorite moment from that production, and what you thought was the best part of that whole climb to the top? Can we do that? Is that something we can do? Just real quick. Just
Oh,
pick
yeah,
out-
yeah.
Just
Leroy.
throw out your favorite moment.
Yeah.
Right, no, go ahead. Because again, this was WWE's third attempt at a theatrical match
Right.
since the whole crack in the earth happened.
Yeah, and
We
this
had the
one,
Boneyard match, we had the Firefly Funhouse match, and now we've had the Money in the Bank
And
match.
this had a lot less of the over the top theatrics. This was more following what's going on.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
oh yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Geez, man, I had a couple that I
Okay, yeah.
love.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
Go for it.
God, it's like three of them.
It was good. A lot of good stuff.
I know a lot of good stuff.
It was so
It's the cameos. You know,
Brother Love.
brother love in the back. I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, the food fight,
Started by our boy. Started by our boy.
and then when
I don't know if that was the first food fight he'd been in.
yeah, probably not. And then when AJ and Brian
Was that not
ended up
so
in
good
Vince's
in
office, and he goes,
Hands
and
down.
he didn't have to say anything, and it was just perfect.
I'm going to set the scene for you. They're fighting throughout the building, right?
Oh, that's always lovely.
They
Yeah.
end up fighting through a doorway into Vince McMahon's personal office.
It's gold.
And Vince is just sitting there. And what's hilarious is at that moment they both stop and they're like,
We're sorry.
sir, Mr. Man. And the best part is as they're leaving, Daniel's like, we should go. And then AJ's like, yeah, no, chairs. Because
Pushes the chairs in.
they knocked the chairs on his conference table out. So AJ goes, chairs, points to the chairs. He and Bryan both take a chair, put it back in, and then they slowly leave. And actually, Daniel Bryan, Japanese bows to Vince McMahon as he walks out of the
Yes.
And it was the best moment in my
I think
opinion.
they absolutely capitalized
Oh my
on that
God.
moment to connect with the audience and give them actually something pure and funny and comical.
The door's shut. They're still talking to each other. Daniel's like,
And
and
then,
Dan's like, what are you talking about?
And everybody delivered perfectly.
and the
Oh,
way
so perfect.
and the way Vince said, he's like,
And the best
puts
part
the
about
hand
it is,
sanitizer his hand
And you
and
can
sits
tell
down.
he's just the best pro at all of it. You know,
Oh,
he's like,
so
he's,
good.
he's like, this
so
is
many
it.
years of doing it.
Yeah, no, I think that's my favorite part.
Also,
of
can I
the
point
thing.
something out? You had two GOAT caliber people that made that scene hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Let us not forget, Shinsuke Nakamura is actually a protege of Daniel Bryan. And Shinsuke is the man himself, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you had AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan who had fought for years.
Did you want?
And
Right.
and it was phenomenal. But you already mentioned my favorite because, I'm sorry, anytime I see AJ Styles commit to something, because when AJ Styles commits, that boy commits, and he is all in on what he does. That's my favorite moment. So, but Jimmy, yeah, go ahead.
Same thing. So, I was gonna bring up that moment when they first entered Vince's office, dude. I laughed so hard, and I just couldn't stop until the scene was over. And even when the scene was over, continue laughing. That's
And going back to my point on future conversations for GOATs, AJ Styles made the Boneyard match work because AJ Styles is the type of guy, much like going back to Jimmy and Willie here, I want people to understand, I was technically one of the first people to be a part of that semi-pro team. There's a lot of politics involved in semi-pro football, but here's the deal. These two guys, we sucked for about 5 years.
Long time.
We didn't have a win to our
So
name.
bad.
We were awful. And
How
for
long
some,
did we go before we got a touchdown? Wasn't it like 3 years?
how long ago before we got an actual field?
Anyway,
that would help a lot.
Jerseys.
That would definitely help a lot.
Weren't we playing behind an abandoned school one time?
Yes.
We
And we
digress.
did have practice back there.
Yeah.
Oh God, we digress, please.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so I just want to point out, going back to these guys, commitment and sticking
Absolutely.
around and fighting for who you believe your family is. AJ Styles is that kind of wrestler. What is best for the company that I am currently signed with? Doesn't matter that Impact and TNA gave him his start, because he even said on Stone Cold's podcast he wasn't ready for WWE. He even said that himself. But the thing is that AJ Styles has been in 2 out of the 3 theatrical matches done ever since the Crack in the Earth. And he has made them work. He has made me care about Undertaker's revival.
Right.
He has made me care about a match that, let's be honest, was going to be a little gimmicky, especially when the women's match started with Asuka jumping off the damn freaking second floor.
And I know we're from
And-
Superior, and so
And
to
her
this-
going up the elevator, I thought was great. I'm glad
Somebody
somebody
did my
did.
thing. I
It
said on the
was great.
podcast,
I love
somebody
that.
needs to get in the elevator.
And somebody did.
And the best part is, okay, Willie, one more scene I have to set for you, because this is another great moment from the women's match. Asuka's in the elevator, right? The elevator opens, and the camera's on everyone fighting. All the women are fighting in this hallway. Asuka's in the elevator that just opens. She's hiding behind the crack in the elevator, making sure that no one sees that she's still in the elevator. It was priceless.
And I also did enjoy, at the beginning there when Otis knocked AJ and he was laying there and he grabbed
and the weights.
the bar, and put it on. I'm like, AJ is good. He got out of that eventually.
To me,
But that was great.
to be fair, who else was going to lift that off other like he asked Rey
Nobody.
Mysterio to lift it off. I'm like, okay, Rey Mysterio is all of 5'6", 180 pounds wet. Otis is 180 pounds. That's what he had for breakfast. But
Yeah, I'm glad we can circle back to AJ though, because we're from Superior, so 2 and 2 is easy to us.
yeah,
Adding 2 and 2 is 4. We're good at that. So we know why AJ Styles is in these matches. You know what I mean? Like, if you can put 2 and 2 together, AJ Styles is in these matches for a reason. You know what I mean?
you don't sign a 5-year deal.
We believe this guy.
at that age
No.
without being able to pull something. And that's the thing. AJ Styles didn't go to NXT like a lot of TNA guys did. But that's because AJ Styles, I think Vince looked at that and said, I may not have built you. You're going to come in with your name because everyone already knows you, but you're a star. You're the guy.
And that Vince also let him slap him in the face and knock him on his rear end. One.
Not a lot of guys have had the opportunity to touch
No.
Vince McMahon on camera. I can
A
tell
lot
you
of
right
guys had
now.
to kiss his ass.
Yep.
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah, literally, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Not even got to slap his boss, bro. Sign me up.
Anyway, so we will actually circle back to this. So we were talking about this off camera. It's been a rough week for the wrestling business. We wanted to kind of get this out of the way, but also give proper respect to it. Over the past week, we've had a couple of losses here in the wrestling community. Willie, Leroy, and I are definitely a part of the wrestling community. We've traveled around to different shows. We've put up the ring. We've done our things, but we haven't paid the dues like the people in the ring. So we want to give a little love to Shad Gaspar, number one, formerly of Crime Time, was found floating in the ocean, passed away at the age of, I believe, 39.
39, yeah.
Yep.
Shad was swimming in the ocean with his son, and the Coast Guard actually did make it to both of them. And Shad's last words, and I'm just going to say right now, this makes you a hero. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but when your last words are, secure my son, rescue my son, if those are the last words you ever speak, you're a hero in my book. And I can speak to the other three people here, not me obviously, but the other three people here. Y'all got kids. None of you would have done anything different from what I've learned from the three of you guys.
No, I will always.
My kids come first.
I will never
no
bury
matter
my
what.
kids, bro.
You know what I'm
Never
saying?
happened.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
I
no.
won't be here when that happens.
Could have been my
Sacrifice to somebody else's parents before I have to.
Right. So
Put
salute
my kids down.
salute to Shad for.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
most
mean? I
definitely.
mean, he just did a dad thing. That's just what dads do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that would have been my
No
final
question.
words too. I'm like,
Yeah.
take my kid.
It's instinctual, I guess.
Save him.
The
Oh yeah.
GoFundMe page for him, by the way, had a goal of $100,000. It did reach that. There was a $40,000 donation from a donor called CTC.
That was done in less than 24 hours, and
Yes.
they have over $100,000.
Yes.
right
That's
now,
amazing.
so.
Now,
good for them.
this is not confirmed, but people are guessing that the CTC is actually John Cena because if anyone remembers back in, I believe, 2008, there was a short-lived faction, Crime Time C Nation.
With
Was a
Matt
short-lived faction there, and people were guessing that was John Cena. But I wanted to point something out. Going from Chris Masters getting wrestling buddies and other people to look for his body after they'd given up the search after 24 hours.
Right.
That guy, I mean, the wrestling business is a tight-knit business, and I guarantee you that could be from any wrestler who just looked at that and said, that's a friend, that's a family member, we've been up and down the road together. I mean,
I'd put money on it that it was many. Many just probably came together and said,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
pretty
mean?
much.
It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's a community.
oh yeah.
It's just like any other organization, like the Grizzlies. You know, we're a community. We're gonna do what we can
Yeah.
do for our people.
It's almost like once you get into wrestling, you're not a normal person anymore.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
more of
You
like,
can't
Yeah.
do that every day without getting close to people. I mean, you
You
can't.
can't even watch it without getting close to people.
Right.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Also, again, in the last 48 hours, some people, we will be covering more Japanese wrestling down the line here. Stardom is a all-female wrestling company in Japan. Stardom star Hana Kimura passed away from suicide. She was on a reality show at 22 years old called Terrace House, which was actually suspended due to the crack in the earth. I want to point out that it was 3 men, 3 women were all put together to live together, and I haven't seen the show yet, but the only image that I've seen of the show is this was a young girl, pink hair, and the only quote that I know off the show was she was sitting there with a pillow over her face saying, "I'm on the show so people can love wrestling more." I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she, for those of you who don't know, she was given a lot of cyberbullying from tweets from people who have since deleted them, so they won't even own up to it, for being on the show.
Whoops. Sorry.
And no, it's fine. Leroy's setting some up here. Once we get a little bit more, Jimmy, you had something for Hannah?
Yeah, no. So we don't know Hannah too much, but this can resonate for anybody even listening. Just real stuff. So, before she took her own life, she had posted on Twitter, nearly 100 frank opinions every day. I couldn't deny they hurt me. Die. You are disgusting. You should disappear. I believed these things about myself more than they did. Thank you, Mother, for the gift of life. My whole life I wanted to be loved. Thank you to everyone who supported me. I love you all. I'm sorry for being weak. And then she posts, right before she passes away, goodbye, I love you, have fun, and live a long time. I'm sorry. So listen, think about what you're doing. Think about what you're saying to people. You're behind a screen, but you don't know how people can handle it. Okay? Get your stuff together
She was 22.
and be genuine. She's 22 years old, man. get your shit together. Excuse my
22,
language, man.
right?
Get it together.
I think
Wrestling-
we beat that can't curse mark already, right?
We did, yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
But be
Yeah.
careful. Yeah, I mean, she just had like literally just a 4-year career.
Seriously,
In
a lot of
wrestling,
people
that's-
have
Wrestle
something to
with her
say
mother,
about
like,
what was
Her
going
Yeah,
on.
mom,
she did,
Her
yeah.
mom is a very well-known
Yeah.
wrestler.
Her
in
first
Japan.
match was against her mom,
Yeah. Yep.
where she won the belt, and then her mom got the belt back.
She was 8 years old.
Yeah, it was kind of fun, you know.
But it's just, here's the deal. I mean, many of you out there who are members of the cult of Cornette, myself included, have listened to Jim Cornette talk about the crazy stuff that goes on in Japanese wrestling. But here's the deal. I will meet these people and I will treat them like family. I will get them what they ask for. I will make sure that they have what they need, because here's the deal. You've made my life better and you've given up your body for it. You've done enough for me. I'm sorry. It doesn't take much to earn my loyalty. That's just the person I am. Y'all can say whatever you want about me. I honestly don't care. But the fact of the matter is that here is a girl that was just trying to bring love to the sport that she had given her entire life to, because again, her mother was a wrestler herself. And she went on a show because she thought it'd be kind of fun to bring people into wrestling. And a bunch of people just start tweeting. And we're going to talk about this a little later on a different topic, but this is why I don't do any form of social media. All these guys know it here. I don't do Snapchat. I don't do Instagram. I don't do Twitter. I do Facebook to keep in touch with old friends. But Twitter has ruined the wrestling business to a point that, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Just because you have a screen now that gives you 160 characters, it don't mean that you've traveled 8 hours to a show.
Such a
You've
shame.
set up a ring.
Yeah.
You've taken that ring down on the same day. You've gotten beaten, battered, and bloodied, and then you drive 8 hours back. And mind you, I want to point something out, because Edge used to talk about this when he was in Canada wrestling. You damn near wrestled for $15-20 that paid for your wrestling license that night. Then you
Right.
slept on the gym floor on a bunch of mats that, by the way, Jimmy, you've wrestled on those mats. They ain't exactly comfortable for 8 hours of
Nope.
sleep.
Just a little thin
No.
pad, probably 1 inch.
So as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
I don't know who did it. I'm not asking for the world to go out. Look, here's the deal. There's been enough hurt for too many families. I'm not asking the world to go up in arms here, but there's no reason for people to do that. Watch what you say. It doesn't matter if you think somebody's weak. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's just senseless to me. I'm not asking for people to gather torches and pitchforks and find the people, but here's the deal. If you got the balls to say that on a freaking computer, you better damn sure be able to say it in real life when that person's standing in front of you, because I can guarantee
It's not gonna happen.
I can guarantee you
No,
that
it
Hannah,
won't happen.
Jimmy, we'll get to you just one second.
Sure.
On my last word, and here's the deal. I worked a show down in the cities where a drunk dude thought that he could beat up some of the females that were in the main event, and I just turned around and I said, dude, she would fold you up like a pretzel.
Yep.
And I guarantee you that any person who tweeted out against her, I don't care if you're a 6'4" bodybuilder, she probably had the ability to choke your ass out. So don't sit here and tell me that you're tougher than she is.
There's a lot of thumb thuggery on the internet.
Yeah, Jimmy, go ahead.
Yeah, in the time it takes for you to, with your little Cheeto grubby ass fingers, to type out those mean messages to Hana Kimura, in the time it takes for you to type out that message, that negative message that made her do this stuff, you could have typed out something positive to somebody. Why take that time to do something negative and contribute nothing to this world other than negativity? You know, just that time you take to type that out, make it something positive. How hard is that?
I think it all goes
totally
back
agree.
to the thing that everybody figures, because I have a voice and I have an opinion, I have to say it.
Right.
No, just because you have it don't mean you have to say it.
Right.
And it all goes back to everybody is so sensitive and protected. If it was like it used to be, you wouldn't say half of the things you say because you won't be able to say
You
anything
get caught
when
up.
punched in your
Yeah,
mouth.
you get caught up.
Definitely.
Also, we here at the podcast, we know right now for what we've been doing, it's probably not going to get to these two ladies, but our hearts and our sympathy also go out to Kairi Sane and Io Shirai of WWE, who both called their friends from Stardom to try to save her life. They ended up finding out too late after seeing them, but I really do hope that after what she tweeted, I'm not going to read out Kari's tweets. It's already been out there, but I really hope Kairi doesn't think that there was anything she could have done. I mean, it's a sad reality, but that's just kind of what happened. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just the hardest thing to have to deal with, losing family, friends, or anything.
I don't
It's so tough.
ask the three guys sitting here. I am not normally at a loss for words, but a 22-year-old who just had all the potential in the world and was just trying to do the sport that she grew up being told to, not even told to love. She was raised to love.
Disgraceful.
Yeah,
I don't have the words. I don't.
there isn't.
And I'm not saying
There
that.
isn't any words.
And here's the deal. I'm not saying that Shad or Hannah's lives are any more important than anyone who has passed away from anything. But here's the deal. Don't freaking do it. I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
There's
They were
no
doing
reason
something
for this
productive.
crap. No.
Yeah, just
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean,
we here at 13 Cards are going to do a tradition in the wrestling business. Leroy has it set up here. We're going to do a 10-bell salute. During those 10 bells, we are all going to be a little bit silent while Leroy gets the 10 bells. And I just want to say one more thing. Rest in peace to both Hannah and Shad. And enjoy the ring in the sky because you guys can keep doing it up there. Thank you all very much. All right, so this seems like a really weird transition, but we wanted to get to some really amazing things that are happening. And I hate to sound cliche, I really do, but one door opens and when one closes,
another one opens.
we lost 2 lives, but we are gaining one. We're going back to the news that broke the internet shortly after Raw came on the air. For those of you who don't know, the Money in the Bank for our boy Otis is a contract
Ooh, yeah.
for a championship match. For a championship match against a champion of his choosing, anytime, anywhere. The women's match was actually much different. We found out. For those of you, if you haven't been following wrestling, why are you on this podcast? First of all, this is
Because they love hearing our voices.
Well, I don't know about you.
I don't know, it's
but
questionable about
it's
that
very
one, but-
questionable.
You did sexy. You're the cop.
There we go. Anyway.
That's what I think.
Thank you, Willie. So news that broke the internet is Asuka is now the Raw Women's Champion, having not beaten anyone for it, but having won the Money in the Bank briefcase. Becky Lynch, God bless her, has announced that she is going away for a while. Becky has announced that she is pregnant with her first child. Obviously, for those of you who know the internet, her fiance Seth Rollins is obviously the father of it. He posted a picture shortly after she had announced to the world. He posted the picture of her finding out she was pregnant. Apparently, she had tried multiple tests and they weren't working, so she finally got a digital one. So she said, "I peed on the stick wrong." So that was kind of.
I don't know how that's possible to pee on the stick wrong, but hey.
You're in Wisconsin. It's,
Well, okay, it
It's
is possible in Wisconsin, yes.
Just, anyway, get the shiwi.
But yeah, I mean, I do love the quote that she had on there when she said it is, look at Asuka and say, you be a warrior, I'm going to be a mother.
I love how it rhymed a little bit, too. It was good.
And that, I mean, as everybody watch, if you haven't had a chance to go watch it, I don't know why, watch it or watch it again. I mean, just the emotions and everything. I mean, I don't watch it on Monday. I watch it on Tuesday because I don't have cable, so I watch it on the Hulu. And then I got a message from Zach, Becky's pregnant. I'm like, is that real or a shoot? I mean, I had to ask that question.
Of course, it is a wrestling. It is Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Not a lot we put past Vince McMahon.
And then how much it affects everybody is like, and Zach told me, he got a message from his better half when he was working because she was upset that Becky was pregnant and was going to be off TV. She's not a big wrestling fan, but she has become one. It was wonderful.
She loves Becky.
I did love that reaction. I mean, that pure reaction.
So for the deep wrestling fans,
yes.
this is what we've encountered. Okay, this is Becky Lynch. I'm just gonna do a super quick rundown. Okay, NXT 2013-2015 Women's Revolution member. Okay, she takes on the Man moniker in 2018. Okay, at SummerSlam, January 2019, won Women's Royal Rumble. April 7th, 2019, WrestleMania 35.
Main event, mind you.
Main event headline.
The first ever
time woman headlined at WrestleMania event and became both Raw and SmackDown Women's Champ.
Becky two belts.
And then she set the record for longest reign as Raw Women's Champ. Guess how she ended it? It was this announcement that ended her longest reign as Raw Women's Champion.
And before we go on, can I just piggyback off that for a second? So for those of you who don't remember, Asuka relinquished the NXT Women's title due to injury.
Yes.
And so she was still unbeaten when she went to the main roster. If anything, does this not maybe help Becky's persona as the man? Because now she didn't lose. There's no way to make her look weak. She can come back and still be that person who can say, I never lost. I had to relinquish for the reason that I did. But call me crazy. I think it helps the story.
It's more like passing the title to gain another one. Figuratively speaking.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And
And she still stays the man because she has the power here. She chose, hey,
well, she'll be the mom, but you know.
right, okay.
The
that's
man,
just
the mom,
Okay,
Becky, the
but,
mom.
but here she still made her own decision. You know, there's nobody here.
Exactly.
She makes her decision. In my eyes, you know, having a wife and she's a mother, obviously of 2 kids. You are the man, quote unquote. You're the mom. You know what I mean? Like you are the shiz now. You know, so she still stays the man, in my opinion, for making this announcement.
well,
And I also want to point out.
yeah.
Okay, so all right. So on that note, this is gonna sound weird. I'm actually gonna be defending a man on this podcast who constantly gets ripped by the world and said a few things somewhat unflattering about Becky when this whole happened. So Jim Cornette had a few things to say on his podcast. I have the actual isolated quote here because for the most part it was like 27 minutes. Jimmy, you heard it. It was mostly just him and Brian Last kind of BSing back and forth, but basically, okay, I'm gonna paraphrase here just to get to my point. He basically went on to say you can't always be on top of the wrestling business and have $1 million spot a year. First of all, you can't. When was the last time a woman did that? Number one. I mean, look.
been a long time.
Look, here's the deal. It's 2020. Feminism has kind of taken over. I'm not going to go on a rant about that, but here's the deal. In this business, history is history. It is what it was. It was written. You can't change it. Women have never been big in this industry. For God's sakes, Becky Lynch is the first woman that has ever been given a gimmick similar to Stone Cold. They've never tried a Stone Cold gimmick with a female until now.
Nope.
So here's the deal. First of all, he's not incorrect. Number one.
Facts.
Okay, 99% of this business is living paycheck to paycheck in wrestling. You ain't always going to walk away with a paycheck like The Rock, who basically heads back to the hotel and is making more money off the movies than he did off his one appearance for Vince. Now, okay, he also said she could have waited. What is she, like 30? And truth is, Becky Lynch is 33. Around 35, women tend to have more risky pregnancies.
Right.
Jimmy, you have 2 kids. Leroy, 2 kids.
Yes.
Willie, maybe.
Willie, many.
Come on, man. How you gonna put me out there like that?
Many he doesn't even know of.
Anyway.
Damn that.
Dirty dog.
Anyway, back to Jim here. Jim, okay, here's the deal. Jim Cornette obviously said things a little bit harshly. No one's going to deny that. But the fact of the matter is that
What made it harsh, though?
here's the deal. Everybody fell in love with Becky, being that Becky was someone who you can relate to. She was the blue-collar worker like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You related to her. You understood the struggles. Also, remember, after Becky won the title, she did I think it was the WWE 24 special, where she's sitting in a chair talking about winning. She talks about the lonely nights, being the number 1 draft pick for SmackDown, and then just jobbing to a bunch of women who didn't go anywhere. Becky talks about nights where she wasn't, she was on the show for 5 minutes. This is the number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah, paying dues.
She had a 5-minute thing. And everyone's like, okay, she even questioned herself, and she was at a low point. And we've all been there. We've all wondered, is this worth it? I mean, I don't know how many times I was going back in the car with Willie from 100-0 loss in football, and we asked ourselves, what's the point of this? Obviously,
You ain't have to bring up the score.
Bruised, battered, and
it happened 3 times, for Christ's sake.
All right, yeah.
bruised, battered, and
Broken bones.
Yeah, I mean,
Snap back in place.
I don't even can say that he was being harsh.
He's being honest.
He was
Yeah,
being
it wasn't harsh.
blunt.
It was
it's just blunt.
It was
That's-
his opinion, and other people wanted him
That's
to
him.
sugarcoat what he was saying.
He
Oh,
never
yeah.
said she couldn't be a mom. Look, here's the deal. Seth Rollins has come out and he has said, I lost a lot of respect for someone who I thought was my friend because they have days back in ROH, Ring of Honor.
Yep.
But here's the deal. No one's wrong, in my opinion. And this is my opinion.
No, for sure. I
Y'all
agree.
can lambaste me for it, but here's the deal. I live in a world of what people say, not what I perceive them to have said. Here's the deal. Seth Rollins, you got to defend your woman. Somebody talks shit about my girl, I'm damn sure going to be on her side, 110%. You defend that. That is the mother of his child. That is a woman that has brought him up from the depths as much as he did for her. So he's not wrong in defending her. But the point,
no, isn't.
but
Yeah,
the
he's
point
not
is that yes, Jim Cornette is considered the guy who everyone thinks is shooting for the sake of shooting. They think, oh, dude, it's not the 80s anymore. Here's the deal. He comes from a place of where I said history, quote unquote, has already happened. If a female got pregnant in the 70s and 80s and left the show,
one
she wouldn't have had a
cares.
moment. No one would have given a crap. That's
They
just
used
the
to
way.
replace females, and nobody even
thought anything else.
Exactly.
But okay. I'm gonna go on a little bit.
Nobody even noticed.
We don't like to get political here, but I'm gonna
Let
go
me hear
on a
it.
slightly non-wrestling rant
Let
here.
me hear it.
Okay, not
Say it.
not feminist because
No.
because I feel like every
We don't want to say that word.
No,
Come on now.
hold on. Everyone in this room, in my opinion, is a feminist in the sense that there are women in our lives
Straight up.
that we believe deserve as much chances as we get based on gender, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, okay, here's the deal. There are fem Nazis who take things way too
Yep.
far, and as far as I'm concerned,
Wait, how
stop-
do they do it? Like this?
I don't
Or-
know. I don't know. Here's the deal. You can't
I don't know, boys.
rewrite history.
Yeah, that's about right.
I want to let me repeat that. You can't rewrite what happened. What you can only do is move on and make a better life for you. Jimmy, you got a little girl, right?
I do, yeah.
And you
Yep, I have a son and a daughter.
and you will fight every damn day to make sure that both of them get every opportunity possible. But the thing about it is that you're not going to let her ever feel like
She's singled out.
yeah, no.
No, yeah, I mean, so, it's, so Jim Cornette, okay, so media's going to do what media's going to do, and they're going to pick out lines, and look, as hardcore wrestling fans, we know who Jim Cornette
They
is.
said that he roasted her.
We know who he is. We know who Jim Cornette
No.
is. We know what he brings to the table. We know what he's talking about, okay, as true wrestling fans.
He's worked for every major company in the last 35
You'll
years.
have people like those feminazis or whatever, or people who are just social justice warriors that will come out of the woods and just not even know who Jim Cornette is and see and hear his rant and see the lines, and they will pull out what they want to pull out and say, hey, this guy's a pig. This guy's nasty. How dare he? Okay, well, that's somebody who doesn't have any experience in the business. You know what I mean? That's somebody from the outside saying, oh, how dare he? No, I mean, he makes decent points. Just a little more blunt than a lot of people would like to accept it. But I mean, he makes fair, blunt points.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
And then on the other side, counter Seth Rollins and Becky.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to defend their stance. She's 30. She's getting up there in age for childbirth.
And she sacrificed how many years for this damn? At 15,
What
she
did she-
showed up at Finn Balor's wrestling
What
school.
else does she have to give to WWE? What else does she have to give?
And Vince
She
gave her a
doesn't
hug,
have
by
to
the way.
give anything.
Well,
She already...
Vince hugged this woman who basically told him, you no longer have a top baby face. And Vince was like, I get it. Okay, we're going to talk about Vince a little later on another topic, but here's the deal. I am done with this crap. Look, is Vince McMahon a little bit crazy, a little bit psycho? You have to be a billionaire.
Definitely
Okay?
is.
You have to be. But the fact of the matter is that if you are loyal to him and you push hard for him, when you want to make a decision in life, Vince is human. He's got kids. He's beat the crap out of his kids, but that's a whole other scenario.
Hey.
What's wrong with that? I mean, sometimes you got to get him a little bit.
And I mean, media draws saying,
Oh, yeah.
she's never coming back. She'll
She
give
is
birth,
coming
It
back.
doesn't matter.
she'll
She
get-
doesn't have to come back if she don't want
Yeah.
to. She done came up from nothing, held the title, not been beaten, and then took one of the best ways out.
And
And,
she-
I'm
she'll-
not saying this for a shoot. I apologize. I'm not
good.
saying it for a shoot. She was the man.
Yeah.
That moment before Survivor Series, she was concussed,
Yep.
didn't know where she was, and she had the crimson mask on. And by the way, that Leroy, you, Jimmy, okay, Attitude Era crowds. That was the first time in a long time you saw a crowd react like that when she's standing in the crowd saying, come get me, with a bloody face. That was one of the
definitely.
best crowd reactions in 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even freaking tell me
Right.
that she wasn't the person in the damn company. Nia Jax beat the freaking crap out of her, hits her with a straight right hand. Becky doesn't know where she's at. She's concussed, and she still has the wherewithal in the middle of the freaking thing to sit there or stand up and be like, come get me, I am the man. In that moment, she was the man of the company. Forget her gender. She was the star.
Well, damn it, even
She hit the
She lived
mountaintop.
up to the name.
even with
Damn
her
straight.
even with her gone, they are still gonna sell a
Oh,
buttload
she's-
of her merch.
She's still gonna
No
be
way
on top.
around that. I
She's
mean,
not
who
missing
isn't
out on
gonna get
anything.
that? And they will make a new shirt to honor what she's doing, or maybe
Yeah, WWE
And it doesn't matter. She can
Universe
even
will
do
be
her
here.
screen
yeah.
time cameos during pregnancy.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
way, Willie, thanks for saying that she'll still come back with that, because that's a great segment in here. First of all, Becky's biggest rival has been one of her best friends, Charlotte. Now,
Yes.
going back to what Willie said about she's still going to be on top. Very few people can live up, in my opinion. I think the goats of this business, in terms of not skill, not promos, but in terms of ratings and merchandise and money made combined, it's easily got to be The Rock, and it has to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hands down.
They were
Yeah.
the Attitude Era. It is the only time, and Leroy, I think we talked about this in a previous podcast. Name another sport where two guys who are literally considered top 3 were in their prime at the same time, and they were head to head every single night.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not possible.
Every single night like
You
that.
can't-
yeah.
No,
It's
there is
never
The
not.
only
happened.
other sport where there's been something that's kind of close to that, you would have to go into something that was still physical. Like,
Yeah.
it's really far and few between. Like,
It's even
Who
hard
was
to
it?
it's even hard to find an example.
I'm trying to think of the name. The Iceman and Tito Ortiz. Anytime
Chuck
they had a
Liddell,
fight,
Tito.
it was a sellout. Now,
Chuck
anytime
Liddell.
these two had a fight,
Chuck
it's
Liddell.
a sellout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The Iceman.
so the reason why I bring them up is, and I brought this topic up, and I want to get the guy's opinion on this. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, in my opinion, is the closest thing we've gotten to Stone Cold versus The Rock in a very long time. Now, okay, I am prefacing my comments by saying this, America. I am not saying it's equal. You are never going to get that hype again.
Oh, no.
It's never going to happen.
Nah.
But let's look at the comparisons. Charlotte is a second, third generation star. The Rock was a third generation star. So naturally there was more talent.
Charlotte's only second.
Right. Yeah, second.
The Rock is a third
Yes,
generation.
But the
So,
generation.
yeah,
you know,
generational
Generational
talent.
talent, yes.
Becky,
for sure.
no one in her family wrestled. She went to a wrestling school at like 15, 16. She lied about her age to get into Finn Balor's wrestling school. Number 1. Number 2. Becky, in my opinion, and again, I love Becky. She's my favorite, but she is the least talented physical wrestler of the 4 horsewomen. Charlotte's number 1 because look at her daddy and look at what she's done. Don't freaking tell me she's not the best athlete. Number 2,
she
I
is.
would say, is Sasha, because Sasha, in my opinion, is what you want your female wrestler to be. Talented in the ring, looks great, and Sasha can do anything. Sasha is so underutilized, it is embarrassing, and I can't even believe I'm talking about her being a valet right now.
But
And-
at the same
Yeah,
time,
I
if you
know.
say
And
that,
then you got
then
Bayley.
you got to look at it like this: with the Lynch out, this could be Sasha's time to come
Exactly.
up and shine.
It opens
Hopefully.
the door. But anyway, back to my point. Bayley, I've seen Bayley wrestle. Holy crap, is she good? In my opinion, I'm not saying that Becky Lynch can't out wrestle me, because she can. We all know that. She can out wrestle 99% of the world because she has been dedicated to what she's done.
Right.
But in my opinion, of those 4 women, she was the least talented. But proof, hard work pays off. Stone Cold was never as naturally gifted as The Rock. I know Stone Cold, before he got hurt, was great in the ring. But The Rock, it was fluid. The guy knows everything it is about being in ring. You guys watched and you were like, this is effortless.
He just walked in.
Yeah,
Well,
the comparison with the two is like, so
He's got two Hall of Famers above him.
what did Stunning Steve bring
Yes.
to us? What did the Ringmaster bring to us?
Stunning
What did
Steve,
Stone
he
Cold
had to
Steve Austin
build
bring to
up
us? The Rattlesnake.
with all
Well,
of his.
When he was stunning Steve Austin, that was like,
the
yeah,
gimmicks, you know, the gimmicks.
it
didn't
wasn't
work with these
great.
guys.
The ringmaster, it wasn't him. He
You gotta
brought,
let them be them. That's the thing.
and he did. He brought that up.
Yep.
The Rock, that was him. I mean, he grew up
He was
with
about,
his
he was about
grandfather
To get cut. He was about to get cut,
and his father.
mind you.
Well, yeah.
And then he goes to Jim Ross and says, "Give me a microphone."
And they can,
Oh,
give
yeah.
him the name Rocky Maivia because he has a family lineage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
and
can't
they-
give Stone Cold Steve Austin some family name.
No.
You know, you got to try some gimmicks out
Nah,
with
he
him. And then
built
no
his
gimmicks
from
work.
scratch.
He's Stone Cold. He's the Texas Rattlesnake, baby. You let him be himself.
And we're saying, by the way, we're not saying that The Rock didn't earn it. We're not saying
For sure.
Charlotte hasn't earned it.
Different.
Oh, no, not
different.
at all.
They are 2 of the greatest of all time already.
Basically, they just came in and had some big shoes to fill, and they did a great job.
The Rock had 2 Hall of Famers, and Charlotte's following the GOAT.
Yeah.
Like I said, big ass shoes to
Good
fill.
Lord!
Biggest shoes possible. I mean,
Shaq shoes, baby. You ain't gonna fill him.
I know.
And I want to point something out for those of you who have never gone back and watched. The great High Chief Peter Maivia had some good matches.
Oh, he had some-
Peter
yeah,
Maivia
he was
could
good.
Go.
That whole family,
Oh
Rocky's
my God.
family is legendary.
It's so good.
Okay, yeah,
But
I mean-
but no, I mean, am I wrong in saying that it doesn't have a lot of similarities? Also, again, Becky had the crowd reacting in an era where the crowd just kind of sits there half the time.
Yeah.
The crowd believed in Becky. They attached to her. Stone Cold was the blue collar worker. You lived through him because you weren't allowed to hit your boss, but Stone Cold could do it.
You couldn't drink beer at work. He did
He
it.
tried to turn
You're
heel.
still not allowed to, but he doesn't care. What are you gonna do to Stone Cold?
You don't see me drinking at work.
Yeah.
No.
Not yet.
Because you're somewhere else, so we can't see you.
Yeah, exactly.
He tried
no
to turn
cameras.
heel and it didn't work. He couldn't even turn heel.
He regrets
No.
that heel turn. By the way.
The fans wouldn't let it happen.
No,
that's
he
that's
can't
just how
be be
good
a
he
heel.
was.
He didn't turn into a heel. He turned into he turned into a tweener that had a weird
tweener?
heel.
A tweener?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, yeah.
Don't you ever use that word again.
the ones where we just knew that.
Well,
this
add
is
that
who
one
we
to the
like.
list.
An in-betweener. How's that?
No.
Anyway.
It still has tweener
Tween in it?
He turned into a face that the fans still cheer, but he was doing heelish things. Worst guitar player I've ever seen in my
He
life.
was
Stone
basically
Cold.
almost untouchable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hands
When
down.
it came down from
but so
what-
was Becky Lynch.
Exactly,
That's
but
the
just
thing.
look
Yeah.
at it though. Like, he was basically untouchable. How can you do things that a heel would do? You go against the grain on every facet.
Everything.
You do everything that everybody has told you. Hey, you don't want to do that. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. If you do it, you'll get arrested. Watch this. Is basically the entire mantra that goes on through every action that he put out in the ring.
And that's the relatability.
But
Exactly.
But that was Becky.
Yeah,
That,
and that's the
No,
relatability.
that's what I'm saying. I agree
know,
with
I
it.
get it.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
I'm trying to get across to the people listening is that for those of you who may or may not, go back and watch those crowd reactions for not even The Rock and Stone Cold having big moment matches where The Rock's hitting with the elbow. The moment they freaking walked out, the crowd was on their feet.
It's like, oh, you get the warm and tinglies?
Yeah, it's like, here we
Warm
go.
and tingle your ass out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
my
He goes, here. It's like, I feel like I'm getting electrocuted.
I said that the most fun I had was watching The Rock.
Jimmy, Coach Pop is not here.
Okay. Yeah, I know. But seeing The Rock sell the stunner all the time, I think that was
No one-
no one
yes.
could do it as
Nobody
good as
could
him,
ever
man.
do
I
That
will
was
challenge
so
this.
good.
I will challenge this.
Okay, who did it better?
No.
Nobody.
Okay.
Rock's number one, but my number two, bit of
Yeah.
a surprise, Shane McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Shane,
yeah.
Shane did it good too.
Was it Shane that got stunned straight out of the ring?
I think so.
That
Yeah.
was Shane McMahon. He got stunned straight out of the
Oh, my
ring.
God.
It's so good.
Between him and his father, it's
Oh,
like,
my God.
you guys, I love
They
this.
made the perfect punching bag.
It's like,
Didn't
yes,
they know?
please stun him.
Yes.
He walks to the ring, he's going to
Like,
stun him. Here he comes.
you
He's gonna
run
stun
him.
Well,
You
know,
amazing business.
which
and you just
I
got a face
watched-
I want to hit.
I watched a little video
Yeah.
on CM Punk.
Okay.
And he had a quote there, and this was funny. This is about Stone Cold. He goes, he went one time, and he did it in Stone Cold's voice, and which is incredible that he do it. He
Yeah.
goes, looks at Stone Cold, goes, "Hey, you're not doing anything. You want to go and stun me?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" So yeah, he went out and stunned him in the ring because he thought the crowd would love it. And I was like, "Wow." I mean, he's not wrestling anymore. He's not doing anything, but he gets that reaction. And it's like, just like The Rock. He comes out, boom.
There are three
It's just
moments.
funny.
There are three moments in wrestling. You will never convince me that will always get big pops. Number one
Stunners.
is that glass break.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Number two is just hearing The Rock say, "If you smell what The Rock is cooking."
Yeah.
And number three is LOD's opening because my God, that pop for
Oh,
LOD.
Yeah.
sit there and like, whatever.
Rest in
Like, oh,
peace,
yeah.
their Hawk. But my God, that.
But
It was cool as hell meeting
Oh
him.
yeah.
anytime,
Super down.
anytime a Jeff Hardy entrance theme drops, though, and the
Yeah.
lights
And-
come off, and he comes out high feet like Jeff Hardy does, that's
It's a
pretty,
difference,
That's
though.
pretty dope.
It's a difference though. Jeff Hardy is like a rock concert. It's
Yes,
a
he
constant
is.
flow. There's ebbs and flows.
Mhm.
But when Rock and Stone Cold are out there,
Yeah.
everyone's up
constant,
from the
it's-
moment
it's
they get out
constant
there.
electricity.
And
yeah.
if I could
Exactly.
play Shattered Glass, I would, but legally I.
Yeah,
I don't want to get
that.
sued.
So but okay, again, I think we're all in agreement. You're never gonna reach Rock Stone Cold level again. But I think Becky and Charlotte are the closest thing we've had.
Actually, it's like you
I
can't
think
put
so
that
right
into
now.
their own. So basically, those were the top two
Yes,
for just all
Without a doubt.
around.
it's
without a
the,
doubt.
it's the
Crowd.
example, yeah.
But now,
it's the example that they all have to love.
oh yeah, like they've reached that level. They're to that apex of the point where anytime these two go at it, it's
a damn
it's
good
gonna
match.
be one that everybody wants to see.
Oh, yes.
and everybody's talking.
What I
about.
also think is unique in an era, especially now, where I think because of what we know about injuries and concussions and people don't want to work as much, not only were they two of the greatest in their prime, but they worked the 300 days a year. They were on every Raw, every SmackDown before
Not some of those part-time.
the brand slip. For some strange reason, people nowadays only look at Stone Cold and The Rock and they're like, well, it's the persona, it's The Rock outside, it's the movie star. No.
Knock it off.
No.
man.
I want to point
He
something
was
out.
that way.
I
I mean,
want
yeah.
to point some out. During
Right.
the Attitude Era, those moments when The Rock was there every night, they were still special.
Putting in work.
It never got watered down. And that's what I felt Becky became, was when she showed up, whether it was in the giant mink coat or whether it was just her showing up with the... By the way, she showed up with the meme glasses. That was the funniest shit I had seen in a long time. She shows up with the friggin' glasses that like go on people's faces in videos, and then all of a sudden you hear na 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 na. Like, I mean, Becky Lynch had those glasses live on Raw.
Right.
Becky Lynch made that main event special. She is the reason. No offense to Ronda Rousey. No offense to Charlotte Flair. Ronda Rousey did not sell that pay-per-view.
No.
Becky Lynch sold that pay-per-view.
Well, definitely.
Ronda
And
Rousey.
you know how they influence and
Ronda
whatever
Rousey
like that.
was a fun gimmick, but
Yeah.
I kind of like that she got taken out. But even though
might
she
be
got
back.
taken out there, it still brings you back to when she got Quasimodo'd with that kick.
Pretty much.
Well, it's fun with with Becky and Charlotte. I mean, I look at my little girl. She's 4, soon to be 5.
Yeah.
And she looked. I'm like, "Who's that?" She's like, "That's the man." I was like, "Who else do you like?" The Queen. That's her 2 favorite female wrestlers, is the Man and the Queen.
What an example.
She-
What
I
are
mean,
these examples? Great
It's
examples.
great, yeah.
You know,
And
I'm glad you brought that up because
and my son likes them both, but
That's
like
for
Zach,
different reasons.
he likes Alexa Bliss. I totally understand and agree.
You are not going to mess with my 5 feet of fury.
but in a tough
Hey,
world.
she- you know what?
Hey,
Mandy-
Becky Lynch and Charlotte don't have a song by Bowling for Soup about them.
But
Number
you know
one.
what? You know what? All I have
Number
to
one.
say is, did y'all see Mandy Rose and those? I don't know if they were Daisy Dukes on Friday. Holy crap!
We'll get to that a little bit later
Whew.
because Leroy really wants that. To be
Yeah.
a thing.
Oh my lord.
Anyway, so I mean, it's just okay. Jimmy, you obviously have a daughter.
Yeah.
Willie, you have a daughter too. Is there anyone better to look up to than somebody who walks in, starts from the bottom, and again takes the licks? You teach your kids that, you know what, life
Nothing
is
is
about
given to
opportunity. But you have to take every opportunity. You have to, and by the way, okay, in life, this is how I live my life, and this is why I have such a special attachment to Becky Lynch in terms of how much I love her, just life in general. Here's the deal. Life is about an opportunity. When you get one, you knock it out of the park, and then you stare at the person that gave it to you, and you say, "Please, may I have another?" And then you keep knocking it out of the park. And that is what Becky Lynch did. From the girl who came into NXT doing the Irish jig, and oh my god, that was just the weirdest thing I'd
it
ever
was really
seen.
weird.
But then to go in from the steampunk to then becoming the Man, that's how you earn a guy like Vince's trust. That's how you can go away, have a family, and Vince lets you come back and still be you, is because you proved yourself. It was an opportunity, and she took it.
Yeah.
And she knocked it out of the damn park.
Yeah, she worked her ass off and beat everybody up.
Yeah, having a daughter, if there's anybody that I would, she just turned 3.
Yeah.
So she's a little young, but when she's a little bit older, if there's anybody I want her to kind of take a look at and follow the lead and look at the examples of, it's women like that. Take a look at like Venus and Serena, like all these sports legends. Like that's why I want her to model her work ethic after Charlotte and Becky. Like
Sports do matter, by the way.
it matters. Like
that's a thing.
little girls
definitely.
watch this stuff. You know what I mean? Young girls today aspire to be that, and it's going to create nothing but hopefully paths and opportunity for these young girls growing up.
It's interesting that you say Venus Williams, because one thing that apparently 4 dudes are going to have to sit here and do is explain the female anatomy to the people on the internet. Because shortly after it was reported that Becky Lynch had her match at WrestleMania with Shayna Baszler changed, because the match wasn't to the high-flying level that I thought it was going to be, but they changed it, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're like, okay, the reason could probably be because Becky supposedly went to the officials and said she thought she was pregnant, and everyone's like, well, how could that be? She said she found out in April. Okay, let me explain this to everyone, because we all saw the same video in 5th grade, okay? It's the same video Leroy watched back in the Stone Age. Okay, here's the deal.
It was on reel to reel. Oh, wait a minute. No, we actually had a VHS tape.
You actually had a VHS tape?
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's so cute. Anyway.
I know.
Anyway.
And one of those big disc. That was in high school. That was weird. And then they got really small.
Holy jeez.
You gonna bring out your loincloth next there, Mr. Caveman, and show off
Hey.
your...
Oh, we had.
your
I thought projectors were ancient.
Right, yeah,
Project-
no, it's goddamn.
Hey, that's how I.
But
That's how
anyway.
I was roots in high school. In school was
Right.
on a real.
Hey,
real
when
ad.
you saw that little TV and the VHS, you
Party
knew you weren't
time,
doing
baby.
nothing that day.
Party
Right.
time, baby.
Oh yeah.
But getting back to my point, here's the deal. As I have been learning, and not that I wanted to, but as my girlfriend has explained to me many times about the female anatomy, every woman has a cycle. It's called the time of the month. And it's the same time of the month for a period of time, but then it changes.
Not always.
No, but that's my point. It changes. It can change. And here's the deal. If I'm Becky, and let's say it's more towards the beginning of the month, if it's 2 weeks late, you're starting to have the wheels turn in your head. Okay, is it my cycle changing or is something else going on? And by the way, I want to point something out that, going back to defending Jim Cornette a little bit, I don't think Becky Lynch also cares, because Becky Lynch obviously made that decision to this is going to happen or it's not going to happen. That was probably the decision she had made in her life.
Exactly.
But here's the deal. Becky probably thought to herself, okay, I'm either late, and then maybe she was a little nervous. She went to Vince. Again, this is all speculation. This is what I'm guessing could have happened. But then, again, WrestleMania was taped third week of March. She found out in April. April was only 2 weeks away. She could have taken the test then and then found out. Like, why do I have to explain the female anatomy to certain people? Some of y'all got kids and I got to explain this shit.
That kid might be somebody else.
That's perfectly fair. Anyway.
Well, it doesn't take the scientists to figure out how to, do the deed, but you know anything else more than that, you might have to get a book, and some people might have a hard
When
time
a mommy
reading.
wrestler and a daddy wrestler get along, one of them gets to pin the other. Hopefully not like you, and for more than 3 seconds.
And you will cost millions.
Or you look at it, Daddy, what are those dogs doing?
Wrestling.
Are there 2 boys or 2 or? Yeah,
It looks
we're
like
not
the
about that
rear-naked
later.
Hulk, Junior. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so it's interesting that we mentioned this because now we're going to go into a topic that I guarantee we brought up many more times on this podcast in the future. We're going to have multiple people on about it, but we're going to discuss a little thing that Willie can't stop laughing at. We're going to be discussing...
Because we wrote it on the board. It's
I know.
important.
Well, seriously, I walk in and I see the F word. I was like, oh, he wrote one specially for me, and I find out I'm wrong.
Ladies and
Well, it
gentlemen...
wasn't that F word.
Ladies and
It's a different
gentlemen.
F word.
But that's
Ladies
my
and gentlemen,
favorite F word.
I know,
though.
I understand. And Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop, that was one of his
Jimmy and
favorite,
I are
too.
over here trying to do a podcast. Y'all are just goofing
Why?
around. Anyway. Willie giving me the stone cold salute there. What a callback, Willie.
Let me get a hell yeah.
There we go.
Or we just
What?
got 2 words for you.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so in wrestling, the dirtiest word is known as the F word as well. It is the word fake. Becky Lynch has pulled back the veil in a way that, yes, Jim Cornette's not happy about. Some people are not happy about. We talked about it earlier, with what had happened earlier with Hannah Kimura and obviously Shad. These are real people. And social media has changed wrestling, in my opinion, for the most part, for the better, because I feel like I learn more about these people. I get better connected with them. That's just me. I'm not into the whole, big cartoonish kind of era. The golden era is great, but the thing about it is that when I know these people a little more personally, at least I think I do, I'm more connected. The show's better for me. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously if you're listening to this, you believe what I'm here to say. It ain't fake. At this point, let's just pull back the veil and say everyone knows what's going to happen backstage in terms of results 99% of the time, other than the Montreal Screwjob. We'll talk about that another day. But
That could be a whole show, man.
well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
When are we doing that one?
We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know. But it's just we all know that they're beating the crap out of themselves. Those tables, by the way, although altered a little bit, it's Home
They-
Depot's finest.
It
They
hurts.
do not
I've
break
set them up.
easily.
I've set them up. I set
I've
up the
seen it
wrong
go
table.
wrong.
I was there when it. I was the reason that it went wrong, and to this day, and to this day, Funny Bone probably still don't want to talk to me because I screwed up. But
That
anyway,
asshole landed on me.
Super Beast is probably still mad. I put the wrong table on the side of the ring. Shut up.
Well, guess what? People watch How many times can you see Cats on Broadway? You know what's gonna happen.
The movie was
Well,
terrible.
How many times
Yeah,
have
don't
you
watch
cried
the
at
movie about it.
Titanic?
But you get what I'm saying though.
I've never watched that movie.
You know there was enough room on that desk for both of you.
But yeah, but you know,
Great, bitch.
you know that it's scripted. But you can't sit here and tell me that these bumps and these things that these people are doing Kurt Angle, belly suplex and Shane
Through the glass.
multiple times through
Yes.
this glass is fake.
There's no wires.
You cried at Lion King. You can't say shit.
You
Shut
cried
up.
at Lion King.
Well-
This
Well, this is
Yeah,
more
hold
funny.
yourself.
It ties in with, I talk about my lovely job that I work as. My lovely manager, Randy. Oh, yes. Randy, you're
not
out there.
Randy.
How's it going, Randy?
Is on the other day at work, we're talking about wrestling, and he goes, Leroy, don't you know it's fake? I'm like, no, Randy, it's fake, yes, with the outcome, but
Your wife fakes it, but you still enjoy it.
well, he ain't married anymore, so he's all right. Okay, that's for Randy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I love the little sound effects.
Side note, right. Jimmy's been trying to set that up for like an hour.
Oh,
long
my God.
time, and that was the perfect time to use it, and now it's put away.
He's been
Well,
sitting there with his phone for
So
an hour.
thanks, Randy.
As
Damn it,
anybody...
Randy, you made me spill my juice.
It's like Zach knows Randy well. I know Randy well because I've been working him
Randy!
for a few years. But
that copyrighted? Can we do
he
that?
loves. And no, I don't think it's copyrighted.
All right,
so
cool.
we can use
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
But Randy, that was just things like, oh my God, that's gonna really get under. And he loves poking fun at
He
us
loves
and stuff
ripping,
like.
yeah.
He
He
loves
does,
ripping
yeah.
on it.
It's kind of annoying.
But he's like, just wait till he get Zach the next day. And I said, oh yeah, he'll go on it too. I said, but Randy, I have an answer for everything you have to say. The tables, the chairs. I said, Randy, if I hit you with a chair, it's gonna hurt.
Has Randy
It's
ever been,
nothing.
has Randy ever been stunned through the hot rack?
Right?
Stun him through the hot rack, Zach. See if it's fake.
Has he ever
Yeah,
been
right.
power bombed?
No.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
no, we should do
Well,
that.
hey,
You know,
Ankle lock.
If we do it at work, you got to make sure it's safe. But we'll do it outside of work, so then it doesn't matter.
Leroy is
Hey, suplex him.
the resident
Okay.
safety
Vertical
champion at work.
suplex into dumpster filled with old bread.
Okay, but I'm the safety champion at work. I don't want an OSHA incident report.
Yeah,
in a
but
year.
you're outside of the building and you're
Oh, it
not
still
on the
counts.
It's still on the property. It's still.
I got to
Damn
be
it.
if we're like go over to Clyde, great food there too when we get out open, and I can throw him in the dumpster at Clyde.
Hell
That'll
yeah.
be
No,
fine.
there we go. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
jump off of something to land on him.
There we
Oh,
go.
well, all right. We
So-
could work it out. Maybe he'd be willing.
You choose what gets reported then. Good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't see that. It
It
was
won't-
off right.
And if he says no, tell him, don't worry. It won't hurt. It's
Poor
fake,
Randy.
remember?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I already know what I can. I just look at Randy and go, "Here, Randy, what? Here's your bottle of Jack." Be like, "Okay."
But
And he's fine.
But you see our distress with this whole F word. You know what I mean? It gets us so riled up that it's like, what you guys?
There's a crack in the earth because of wrestling.
I know.
You can't
I know.
say things like that.
No, without getting under our
She
skin.
still wants to be called pretty. I know those aren't your eyelashes, and I've seen you draw those eyebrows on.
Yeah, that's fake.
Your hair.
You come
is-
out of the bathroom looking like a 10. When I met you off a Tinder, you were a 2.5.
How is your hair twice as long in one day?
Thank you.
It doesn't
know?
grow that fast.
You wake up in the morning and you look next to you, you go, "Oh my God!"
The cute
We
bitch is
don't
on
want
your
that.
pillow. You're the ugly chick that came off.
There we go. There we go.
Wow. I'm
My
gonna.
whole thing about this.
I might have to put a disclaimer on this one saying, if you have any kids in the room, please let them leave because they don't really want to hear what we're talking about on this episode.
Mom, turn up.
Mommy's only pretty after she's been in the bathroom for half a day.
Mom, mute the podcast. Turn the podcast back on. Anyway,
Right on road, Raggy.
but anyway, Becky is the prime example. This is somebody that I don't care if I don't know her. Becky has poured her heart out to me for a good 7 to 10 years of her life, and she left her family in Ireland, didn't know a damn person in this country, and she went to work for the biggest corporation in the world at what she does. And the fact is that here's the deal. I don't need to know you. You do that for me, who's paying my money to go to shows and buying your merch. You got my respect.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
100%.
Yeah,
it's-
merch. I mean,
I have been body slammed in the grass. I know it hurts. I wouldn't do it for
I
a living.
stunned you in a ring. It was
we
more
have
of a-
that. We have that recorded.
It was
too,
more of
you
a
know?
Oh,
diamond.
shit.
It was
Yeah,
more-
we
it
did
was more of a
record that.
diamond cutter because you didn't take the bump
Little,
price, but still.
little tidbit. We actually backyard wrestling. We had the BYW, Little Backyard Wrestling League.
Yes, sir.
And we did some power bombing through some flames and some tacks, and we came off roofs and used fluorescent light bulbs. We did the whole works. None of it was fake. I got chokeslammed right on the earth.
For those of you wondering, CCW stole all their ideas from Jimmy and his buddies.
it was crazy. We've been doing this.
You should have seen the shit him and his brother did growing
The,
up.
the
right?
second jackass put that on the screen, hey, do not attempt this at home, we immediately attempted it at home. We're like,
Because
Whenever you see, you shouldn't do this. Oh yeah, we're gonna try that. I
Oh,
mean,
shit, I gotta try this.
I had a cousin that his younger brother put him in a sleeper hold, knocked him out, clonked his head on the floor, and he was all right.
if you didn't choke out your brother your male cousin at least once, are you really a wrestling fan?
No,
Me and my
you're
cousin are out there going, does the figure four hurt? I'm like,
Let's find
let's
out.
find
Find
out.
out.
That's how you found out the way to try and arch your back and lift yourself up to
Yes.
one, either reverse it or try and take some of the pressure off your joint.
Well, me and my
Exactly.
cousin are doing that, and he goes, that does really hurt. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I have to lock the foot. I locked the foot. My cousin almost stood straight up and said, oh, my God, let it go. And I let it go because I was weird.
Needless
You know,
to say, none
it
of this
works.
is fake.
No.
So guess what?
Exactly.
Also,
Get right with yourself.
Also, proof that it's not fake. Go to our Facebook page and you'll see a way that it's not fake. Leroy, a special birthday happened last week to a gentleman who happened to make you go up a few octaves.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah, Darren, he's a great guy.
Happy
Even-
birthday to you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we love you, Darren.
Darren
You
Corbin,
know that.
fan of the show, friend of the show, and probably the headliner himself, made Leroy go up a few octaves with a shot to the
Well, yes,
family
because
area.
Loudmouth Mercenary, because, we
We
have
have his merch here.
We
love
have
the merch
decoration of merch. We have, it's today for
here. Jimmy
some
brought
reason.
a few masks here.
We will have a picture up.
Yeah.
We will have a picture up of this because I
hell
think
yeah.
that's pretty
yeah.
sweet,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
We'll put that up. But anyway,
You'll be entertained.
So,
Are we moving on next?
yes,
Or what?
hold
All right.
on. So, a huge shout out to Darren Corbin, obviously the man.
And his consultant, because
And his consultant, of course.
They
They
share
share
a
a
birthday.
birthday, by the way.
It's lovely, yeah.
His consultant, very odd. His consultant, however, has 6 divorce days as well. Darren has none.
Well, Darren has a lovely wife that he should.
Stop insulting
He's,
her for.
I
on the show.
made one mistake, and
You
I
did.
apologize
You did.
for it. And
did.
he's the luckiest guy in the world. He has a great wife.
She puts up with a lot
Oh.
with him too.
And-
All the crap he and Cannon put themselves through, and she still sticks by his side. My
Well,
God.
as he said one time, he goes, I understand when I do something bad, if it's bad, as I look at her and I see her expression. I was like, oh, yeah.
Speaking of Leroy's worst moments, Leroy, the next topic is, as of the last recording, we did the best matches of the decade. We all went around and thought what was the best. So, like I said, Leroy's worst moment in wrestling to the worst matches from 2010 to 2019. Leroy, is that list up and ready to go?
I don't know if that was my worst moment. That was
It's pretty damn
a
close.
moment. Oof. That's just,
How is that
painful.
not your worst moment? You've had some bad moments, but how is that? A man literally crotch chopped you because because basically at work they wanted to see you hurt.
No, it wasn't
Okay,
that bad, he says.
this is great.
I still
And-
think we should have got him hit by the kendo stick bunny, but that's just me.
Well,
Wow.
hey, remember,
Another interview with JDX, also on YouTube.
worst
and
moments of my
sour.
life, Zach.
Yes, Leroy.
You know my ex-wife. There's a reason why she's my ex-wife. That's okay. That's it.
To be fair, you told me it was because she can't fit in the door anymore.
Wow. No, there's some of that.
Oh,
But
don't do it.
that was a worse moment than Darren. I mean, that was. I can handle
But
that.
that was your worst moment in wrestling.
Oh,
Yeah, but things could go up from there. I
Willie
mean,
is a soundboard, by the way. They don't even need to buy the damn thing.
it's bad. This is. I'll tell you, but this is how people. You say, "Love me at work." Is somebody goes, "I want you body slam." No, because you're going to pay from a hospital bill. How about put them through a table?
No.
I might do.
It's softer.
It's a little softer, and I'm like, you know what?
It
I would
breaks the
rather.
fall, Jimmy.
It's a lot less painful than sex with your eyes open.
That is true sometimes.
There we go.
Another public service announcement from Willie. But I'd rather get hit by a chair because that would be a little bit better. I do have a list.
Okay, so you have a list.
I have top 20. I don't know if you
try
want to.
it.
Do we want to
Top
do
10.
20? We'll just do. I'll scroll
From 2010 to 2019,
I'll scroll
what
down
did they say the worst matches were per year?
to number 10. Well, this is going on.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
This
go.
is the last 20,
Okay.
10 years. It did not go in any particular order. All right. I hate scrolling. Number 10, Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett on Nitro. That's number 10. And that was, I can't even find a year on it. Well, that's all right.
that's got to be like 96 or something.
Something like that, yeah. It was
Jarrett
I
and
thought you said the last
you
decade.
said Jarrett.
well, the last 10 years.
Last 10 years. We're in 2020. You
Well, that'd
can
be
only go
TN.
back to 210.
Well,
That's Nitro, WCW.
Well, that'd
that
be
was
TNA.
still my, yeah.
Gene-
This is a family
Leroy.
channel.
Oh, my bad.
Leroy.
I see.
Leroy. 2010 to 2019.
And that's what I put it
Okay.
at.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
that's my bad.
And whatever.
TNA. No, yeah, that's from TNA.
And then 2004. They actually have the date on this one.
Oh, fantastic.
Jamie Noble versus Nydia.
He wore jorts.
Yeah, he wore George, and she probably
Jamie,
kicked his- yeah,
Jamie,
it
I
was-
praise you for working the way that you did, but my God, your career is
Not worth it.
something.
Next.
Number 8, the Brothers of Destruction versus Chronic.
Devon,
believe-
get the tables.
2000 Unforgiven, 2001.
So that's
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I just love
I know,
hearing
I know.
it.
That's Kane and Undertaker versus who?
Chronic?
Chronic? Who is this? Jay
Cam
and Silent
Blunt
Bob?
Man.
The Brother of Destruction. Well, I believe that Kronik was.
I never said, was that Kurt or
That's
something?
yeah,
Moving on.
yeah. That's it. Here, and we've met this guy, and my
By the
son
way-
has an autograph from him.
By
Yeah.
the way, 2004, 2010 to 2019.
Well, whatever. This is the. Hey, this is what I found.
We're sitting here like, damn.
Okay.
He said Jamie Noble, and I was like, I haven't seen that cat in like 18 years, bro.
It'll
Hey,
be like $20.
these are 10 horrible matches in the
We're
We're gonna
2000s.
skip. We're gonna skip to this part. Here is the worst match, and I'm just gonna say it.
Well, no, I got this
No,
one.
no,
This is
no.
a good one.
Do you have one from 2010 to 2019? You fat penguin.
WrestleMania 22. What year is that one?
Kowalski, coordinates. No.
Maybe.
Now wait, boy.
Boogeyman,
Now we got
Boogeyman, and
Nickelodeon soon. What's going on here, man? Anyway, no, Leroy.
Boogeyman who?
Hey,
WrestleMania
2000
22 was not in 2010.
All right, we'll get past that
Okay,
one.
so
How
anyway.
about 2006?
2010 is the first match.
Great American Bat. Well, ooh. Well, this is
Do you
a really
have one
crappy
from
list.
this decade?
No.
Do
From
you
the
have?
2000s.
There's a list. If you
No,
put,
no,
if
no,
you
no.
put from the last decade.
2010 to 2019. I don't need the
the
2000s.
last, the one I was looking for, that one, it sucked.
It's there. It's a decent list. I
It's-
pulled,
that's
I pulled,
why it
I pulled
was-
two off that list, and I was like, oh, these are awful.
Can I just point out the worst match was, and I quote, was Seth Rollins versus The Fiend because of how poorly it was executed. The red light, I'm glad they did away with it. It was bad. You couldn't see damn near anything in the Hell in a Cell because the Hell in a Cell's red now. So I mean, it's
Who
the
the
more
hell thought up that genius idea?
well.
I have no idea.
Well, Vince Russo isn't allowed to call Vince McMahon anymore, so it wasn't Russo.
Good.
But anyway, no, it's just that match to me is my worst. I'm gonna stick with that because here's the deal. The Fiend kept getting up. Seth stomped him like 7 times. So you basically took Seth's finisher, you threw it out the window. He hit him with a damn sledgehammer. He buried the Fiend under chairs and all this stuff. And it's just it was awful. I was not a fan. Outside of that, I think the only bad match would have been probably Goldberg versus Taker in Saudi Arabia, but that was because obviously Goldberg gave himself a concussion before the match.
Can I
but
raise you 2 quick ones?
what do you got for me?
I got Goldberg.
Is it actually from this decade? Because literally I couldn't figure this
absolutely.
shit
No,
out.
I typed it in right.
hey, I'm trying to.
My first one is Goldberg versus KO. Kevin Owens. Fastlane 2017. KO got distracted, and it was a 22-second finish for Goldberg for the win, and it was a pay-per-view main event that lasted 22 seconds.
Yeah,
Ouch,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, okay. that's
The next one, because I picked these two because it was Goldberg and Lesnar, 2 guys that I kind of grew up with.
Yeah.
This next one is Lesnar versus Kofi, October 4th, 2019 on SmackDown Live. Kofi defeated Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35 to become the new champ, and this was this big, long-awaited
Yep,
thing. Like, it
yep,
was awesome.
Kofi Mania. Loved it.
Part-timer Lesnar,
Comes
in a matter of
yeah.
seconds, comes in and throws Kofi around and gets the title. He's a part-timer. How disrespectful to Kofi.
To be fair,
On SmackDown Live, not even a pay-per-view.
the first SmackDown Live, by the way.
That's bogus.
I will say this. Kofi Kingston, in my opinion, took that on the chin. He decided that was going to be how we were going to get Brock over. It was going to elevate Brock. Kofi has been perfectly fine being a star since, because in my opinion, Kofi's been a star since the day he walked in the business, because
No
the
doubt.
guy's just talented.
For sure.
I don't think it was disrespectful. I don't think it was a shot at Kofi. Kofi had a great title reign. We've discussed his title reign. I think it was exactly what it needed to be. I loved it. I wouldn't call that the worst only because I don't think that your matches, in my opinion, weren't around long enough to matter. If you go back and watch this match, hear me out. If you go back, if you go back
That's
and
like
you
saying he came too quick to even be a bad bucket list.
right? But my whole thing about it is that if you go back and watch this match, it's a red light. Seth is glowing. The Fiend's glowing. You can't see the crowd. Seth is beating the crap out of the Fiend, and then the Fiend ends up, like, I don't know,
really awkward. Yeah,
getting up constantly,
It's
and
like
then
fighting on an expo.
the ref ended the match because the ref was trying to tell Seth, "Don't become this monster." I'm like, it was so
in a
poorly-
Hell in a Cell where the rules, there are no rules.
The ref
And
stopped the match in
stopped it.
Hell in a Cell.
That ref needed to be
He should have got slammed out the
donkey
top,
kicked.
bro. He should have got Mankind.
Well, someone told him to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
very fair.
somebody
All right,
should have
so
castrated him afterwards.
from the worst matches of the decade, sort of. Thank you, Leroy. To
Well, there was one source I was looking at. I was not going to touch that one.
Oh, really?
Was
One
it-
that you're not gonna touch.
was it AEW's best matches?
Is there one?
No.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anywho,
different day. Now, okay, so from
That's
the
a
worst
whole new
match
episode.
to what our friend Jimmy here would like to say is not the worst gimmick to get the Money in the Bank briefcase. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the point where Jimmy, it is time for you to tell whatever you are allowed to or what we can. Ladies and gentlemen, Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank, and Otis is someone that Jimmy's got a little history with. Jimmy, want to give us a little background on Otis?
Oh yeah, Taki. So I first met Otis Dozovic, aka Nico, when I joined the wrestling team for Superior High School. He's always been a stud, super athlete. But the thing is that separates him from all the other super athletes and the super uber talented people is the character of him. He comes from Superior, Wisconsin, right at the top corner of Wisconsin. Kind of a smaller town, a smaller city compared to the other cities, and he's got that Midwest charm. Everything you see, even before he got all this screen time, he was putting in work, setting up the ring, and just literally putting in his time in the business. And so, anyways, I wrestled with him in high school. He was a grade ahead of me. We had great times on the wrestling bus. We had great times at the meets. It was fun watching his success. It was one of those people you just kind of knew was going to be something. I had no clue to what extent, but I mean, his work ethic got him here. He's always had this work ethic as long as I've known him.
So for the people, I'm sorry to interrupt there,
Go ahead.
but so for the people who are sitting here and saying that he's not genuine, some people have said that, and I've compared him to Duck Dynasty and honestly Tiger King, because here's the deal. Hold on.
that's disrespectful.
No, hear me out. It's so good that there's no way that you can fake. He's either Duck Dynasty and Tiger King. There's no way that those people are acting. They're either the greatest actors in the world or they are that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, because what you told
They are
me
that
is,
crazy.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Anyway, but from what you've told me
Tiger
is
King? Really?
is you started
I haven't
watching
watched it.
consistently when he sort of got to NXT. Now here's my thing. Is there okay? I'll rephrase this. Is there anything that you've seen that, in your opinion, is forced since you've started watching him?
So honestly,
Putting on those small boxers.
since I've known him, in 2000, I met him in 2008. Since I've known him, everything that he's doing on screen, he has done before this hit the screen. It has been kind of, I guess, pre-screened by people around him. His best friend Cole probably sees constantly. He's been doing this stuff for a long time in the wrestling room. When he does the worm, I mean,
He was doing that on you guys,
First
wasn't
time,
he?
yeah, he was doing it on us. First time I saw him do it was in the wrestling room. And you kind of could tell he was going somewhere. So I just a quick story. We had our legendary Coach Bill Getty from Superior High School, took me, my brother, and Nico, because he knew how much we loved wrestling. We always had matches after the practices and stuff. You're dead tired after wrestling practice, and here we are having pro wrestling matches. But anyways, he brought us up to Wild Bill Irwin's training session. It was pretty intense. So Barney William Irwin, known as ring name of Wild Bill Irwin, he had appearances in the WWF in '96 as the Goon, independent circuit in WCW from '87 to '96 as Wild Bill Irwin. '96, '97, '01, and '07 appeared back in the WWE as the hockey gimmick, the Goon. He's an awesome individual, tough as nails, and that was our kind of like the first taste in a wrestling ring. And the funny thing is, we started hitting the ropes, which is tougher than it looks. So I hit the ropes. My brother hit.
They're not ropes. They're cables.
So we hit these cables, and then it's Nico's turn to hit the cables. His first time back and forth, he snaps the wire that's holding these cables,
Oh
and the
my
whole
God.
the ring
Shit.
post
I've
suspension
set up a ring
collapsed.
damn near 24 times. Those things are tight
The
as
ring
Oh,
post
they are
could
tough.
be.
suspension snapped, and we were like, "Oh, you ruined it!" Like, no, we can't do this trading thing. And while Bill Irwin was fixing it, we had our own little wrestling match. It was dope, but it just shows like the size of him. He's always been that big. He was hitting these ropes just like he does now. Snap. I was like, oh god, here we go. But that was our first taste of like an in-ring experience. And the cool thing was, in order to leave Wild Bill Irwin's ring, you had to take a bump off the top rope from him. So you'd flip off the top rope, knocked the wind out of me. Everybody took one, and it was just a great experience. So from that time that I've known him and all the stuff that we've done, everything he does on screen is genuine. If you just look, kind of some of his interviews and some of his on-screen appearances, you get kind of like a hint of Chris Farley. Okay.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
I never got
Crazy,
that.
huh?
It was so subtle.
And guess what?
Chris
Chris Farley's from where?
River.
Chris Farley's from where? Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay. Nico loves Chris Farley. It is what it is. You can just tell the tendencies. And he does it so perfectly. He does it in his own way, and it's all genuine. He's been doing this for a long time. He's a great guy, great pro wrestler, and I'm glad they're pushing him because he's the right guy to push.
So to the people out there who don't realize, his first appearance on SmackDown with the case, mind you, these are people who are saying Otis isn't ratings, Otis ain't the guy you should push. SmackDown actually gained ratings in the second hour of the first SmackDown after Money in the Bank, 5 days later, when he was in a tag match with Braun Strowman versus, I think it was Miz Morrison.
Yeah, it was
Miz
Miz Morrison. Yeah.
The ratings went up. The ratings were over 2 million. 2 million. Hey, Spot Monkey, 2 million. That's something that your pay-per-view doesn't get.
Stats don't lie, man.
Oh my god.
We want to see him on screen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We love the you can feel the genuine. You can tell when there's gimmicks. This ain't no gimmick, man. This is him.
Leroy, question for you: do you think if the world didn't have a crack in it, if Big Show didn't fall that 6 to 8 feet and cause this quarantine, do you think that Otis would have been the guy, or do you think it was out of necessity? Because Otis is obviously in Florida, he doesn't have to go anywhere, or you know, a lot of wrestlers are at home because the crack is obviously causing travel issues.
Well, I think the way this story has been going with him and Mandy and everything, I mean, why not? I mean, it's a good push. I mean, people love him. I mean, if you haven't watched his ride along with Mandy, it's awesome.
So good.
And I watched that and I go, oh my god, yeah.
She asked him, "Are you okay? Are you a little cold?" I'm like, "Honey, you're in Philadelphia in spring. You think that's cold?
He's
to
from
him?
the Midwest, baby.
He's from up north. He's used to this. I mean, but the way he was and the way he acted, I'm like, holy crap.
And the way he drove is not fake.
Yeah.
The way he drove.
As he can't drive.
I've known him all this time. I've never seen him drive a day in my life.
Really?
On my soul, I've never seen him drive.
Oh my
But
goodness.
he drove there, and Mandy was like, "Do you want me to drive?" No, I got it. But he was total. The niceness and the attitude and just everything from up here that I'm used to, that we all kind of do up here.
He's a Midwest boy. I mean,
Yes, and
you can't take that out of him.
oh no, definitely, and it was great.
And I can't wait to see him bring the gold home, baby.
Now,
that would be
Now,
fun.
before we get into what he's going to do with the case, one more thing I guess I was going to go with here is when I watch him, it's genuine. I think it's hilarious. There is also, first of all you fans at home that are saying, oh, he's not entertaining. Forget the entertainment side of him because, first of all, Jimmy, this is a little story for you that when they due to the crack in the earth, WWE has laid off a few people for short term. Right. One of them was a writer who I guess was very involved with the Otis and Mandy storyline. There were rumors they were going to cut the storyline off TV, and I'm looking at myself like, this has been the biggest thing you've had going for like 3 months.
Going.
You ain't pulling that off TV. That's number one. Number two, you were talking about obviously his physical ability. I don't think anyone can deny that. But are we seriously sitting here and acting like the guy can't physically actually go in the ring?
Allow me, okay?
Yeah, please.
2010, 285-pound undefeated WIAA state wrestling champion. 2009 Greco-Roman junior national.
And this is a heavyweight, by the way. Heavyweight Greco type
He
stuff.
oftentimes had to cut weight to get to 285, mind you. He placed third at the 2009.
He had to cut
yes.
weight?
He placed third at the
Oh,
2009
my God.
Junior Freestyle Championships. He ate good. Whatever. He ate good. He wrestled at the collegiate level, won the national title in Greco-Roman wrestling at the Junior Pan Am Games in 2011, and the Greco-Roman bronze at the 2014 Pan Am Games. He went to CSU Pueblo to wrestle.
Pueblo.
He was a prospect for the U.S. Greco-Roman wrestling team at the 2012 Summer Olympics, and spent some time training at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado. In 2018, he was ranked 255 out of 500 wrestlers by PWI. In 2019, he jumped up to 179 for PWI Top 500. And in 2017...
And this is what Jimmy's salty about.
In 2017, I had no clue that he was PWI's Rookie of the Year. Okay, I had no clue about that.
He wasn't even on main roster television yet.
He was not.
2017 Rookie of the Year. You read off a list the other day of the names that are on that list. Are you kidding me?
Willie.
There's some crazy names on that list, bro.
The PWI rookie list, which goes back to, I believe, somewhere in the 50s. We're talking Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's on this list, Ric Flair's on this list, Hulk Hogan's on this list. We're talking...
Rookie of the Year? Do you want me to give you some?
Can you name a few more other than who I did? Willie, just listen to this list.
Give us a couple big names.
Bring it.
All right. Well, let's see here. We talked about her earlier. Charlotte. She was one of them. Bobby Lashley was.
Bobby Lashley's a damn freak.
Randy Orton was.
Orton. Okay.
Kurt Angle.
There you go.
Bill Goldberg. The Giant. Steve Austin. He was on there. Owen Hart.
Yeah.
And, Mike Von Erich. I mean, the Von Erich family.
Based on what you're telling me, you don't get this award unless you can go in the ring.
And one of the few of the first that actually had it. Larry Zbyszko.
Oh, God.
Ric Flair. Bob Backlund, Ricky Steamboat. I'm gonna leave it at that. And they have runners up.
Jimmy, your boy is on a list with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Look, Otis Dozovic is solid. He's a solid mass. But he's heavy machinery. He's the machinery. He's got a motor.
Tucky's definitely...
You can't shut that motor off.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Tucky's the muscle. Your dude's like the roll. I mean, it's impressive.
He doesn't stop. So if there's question about his athletic ability, get out of town. If there's question about his character, see you later. If there's questions about is he genuine, is he authentic, don't even question it. Like I think he's the perfect candidate and all around person to be pushed right now in the WWE.
Okay. Also, I just want to point this out. Whether it's kayfabe or not, you get to go to work with Manny Rose every day. That ain't a bad way to live. I'm just gonna be honest with you right there.
The
beach. but anyway, so that's gonna lead into another topic here. What's he gonna do with the belt? Because there was a tweet saying that he's gonna use the belt to get the tag titles for him and Tucky. So Leroy, any thoughts on that?
I mean, him having a single titles, yeah, but I think it'd be more interesting because they've always had a single title win for that. Yeah. I think it'd be very interesting. It's like, change it up. He's not going to lose the match, but go for the title belt because it doesn't say for
a world title.
It says for a championship match.
Really?
How cool!
Thoughts?
Yeah. And that would be awesome.
Go ahead, Willie. What do you think?
Before I round it out here.
Well,
do you think it should be used strictly for a world title? Because that's what it's been used for. That's what everyone's kind of gone with. But we all know Vince doesn't like tag team wrestling. I mean, that's not a secret in the wrestling business. But Heavy Machinery is the first tag team in a long time that they're a tag team, both on and off. But anyway, Willie, I mean, like it's like Willie. Do you think that he should use the title and stay a team with Tucky, or do you think once you get to that point, you need to move on to a championship?
The way I see it is...
Closer to the mic.
When he gets both of them, then he's going to be unstoppable. Right now, he has that single, but when it started off, it's Heavy Machinery. And
I don't think they've peaked. I don't think they've peaked.
They haven't peaked, so why would you cut that short? It's at the point where he can go in both directions at the same time. You can still do your group and still have your one-on-one.
They don't do that a lot anymore.
I know they don't do that a lot anymore, but as he's been saying, the man is a freak of nature. He ain't been on the same level as everybody.
The last
jump,
singles,
so why not?
People are going to call me out for this probably, but the last singles guys put together as a tag team where there was a big title involved was probably Chris Benoit and Edge. Remember when Edge had the cast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think didn't they take the belts off Evolution? I want to say, didn't they beat Flair?
It sounds about right.
They beat Flair and Batista, and at the time Benoit was coming off the World Championship victory at WrestleMania 20.
Yeah.
Now So, I think it'd be great for Otis to take home the ultimate goal, which is the World Championship. Okay? But how cool...
Probably Universal, because I guarantee they're going to run with Drew for a while.
Right.
Yeah,
So Universal, I mean.
Yeah, but at the same time, he
it's a
has a
world
peak,
title.
so it's still a chance that
Yeah.
later on in his career, he still can get
But
it.
how cool would it be for a character like him that is so genuine and from the Midwest to do it for his partner like Tucky, who he does love so much, he's a good buddy.
Yeah.
How cool would it be that he did it for them and ended up with doing it for the world title? That fit his character so well.
Because so far, when they had the Mandy Rose thing, and then obviously the hacker showed up. If you don't know who the hacker is at this point, I'm not going to say it on the show. But if you don't know who it is, you haven't been watching.
You're fired.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
Everybody hopes it's CM Punk, but
It's not.
Yeah.
But anyway, when they revealed, I was a fan of how they revealed that it was Sonya that tried to break up Otis and Mandy. I'm glad it wasn't Tucky. I don't think it was the right time to make Tucky the jealous sidekick. I don't think that's the right time. I love tag team wrestling. You haven't had a tag team wrestler, you know, wrestling thing since LOD, where they were a tag team. They were never singles guys.
no, they did a little bit, but
The
it never
Dudley
worked out.
Boys, another team that, in my opinion, is the greatest tag team of all time. Because here's the deal: you don't win 25 World Tag Team Championships together and not be in that damn conversation.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
number
definitely.
one. The companies they did it for, anyway. But it's just, why not? And of course, this goes back to my future rant of tag team wrestling is so watered down these days, especially in the indies when you've got teams like the Young Bucks who are having 20-minute matches where you can tell it's all staged, it's all fake, and I'm actually using the word fake because here's the deal. I am watching Nick
They're not
Jackson.
selling it.
I am watching Nick Jackson grab Matt Jackson, pull him to the spot where the guy's about to flip. It's not like William Regal is there.
Yeah.
Hey,
tough.
pretend that you're wobbly and then fall into the spot.
That's
They're
tough.
literally grabbing the guy by his tights and saying stand here, and you can see it live.
That's tough.
But then I watch Heavy Machinery and I'm like, they're big, they're strong, they're fun loving, and the dudes know how to be a tag team.
Moves like a
Fluid.
locomotive.
And you know what?
The whole thing is he's big, and like the name fits, Heavy Machinery, right? But they move
Well oiled.
fluid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so fluid. It's none of that choppy shit, and you can.
And if Mandy keeps going with them guys, you know how much Vince likes blondes.
Vince Vince
So
loves him.
it-
He loves him.
and I understand in this one. Oh my God. But definitely, I mean, that's the reason why Vince would be like, oh yeah, keeping these guys going. You know, Mandy, she's like, yeah, keep her in those little shorts there, and it make all the guys happy.
Hell yeah.
God's,
Oh,
yeah. God's
It's
greatest creation.
it's a love. Yeah.
But
Daisy Dukes.
But it's just my whole thing about this is just. And by the way, little side note, thank you so much to both of you for being here. It's been an absolute
Thanks
honor.
for having us.
I've loved it. I love that this has been off the rails, but we somehow brought it back. But that's me and Willie's
It's
entire
been the most
friendship.
unique,
But
the most unique one we've
yeah.
done so far.
But anyway, going back to an earlier part of the show. Shad Gaspar was like 6'7", 268, but when you watched him in the ring, and mind you,
He can move.
Well, here's the deal.
It's the new thing that a lot of bigger guys are starting to move like cruiserweights.
But remember, Crime Time was wrestling in work boots because they were kind of like emulating Nelly at the time.
Yeah.
And Shad Gaspar was hitting the ropes back and forth like he was in wrestling boots.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys can move.
Well, the first big
We
guy
also
can
live in a
move.
world where everyone's like, "Oh, they're just a bunch of small, skinny dudes." We
no,
finally,
they're not.
No. Well, on the indies they can be. A lot of guys are complaining that there's too many cruiserweights. But here's the deal: you finally get a guy like Otis, who, in my opinion, things would be different with Otis for two reasons. Number one, if he came out with a tough gimmick, but like Jimmy said, he's being himself and he's genuine, and it's awesome. And number two, if he was maybe like I would say was it about 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah, he's about 5'10", 5'9".
If he was maybe 6 inches taller, maybe people would have a different perception. But here's my thing.
Yeah, what is it saying there?
Jimmy
5'10", 330.
Jimmy has a first edition Elite Collection WWE Otis.
Oh yeah, pre-order just came in the mail. Taki.
I'm gonna have to find one of those.
Yeah,
after
right?
that.
First off the line.
My kids cannot play with that's it. It's
I'll
staying
get
in the box.
I'll
man.
get every edition that's released.
There you
For
go.
my homie.
Collector's items.
But my whole thing about it is that we as wrestling fans, Everybody wants to bitch and moan about, oh, you're not pushing people, this, that. It's the same old guys. It's Lesnar, it's Goldberg, it's this, that. They finally give you somebody, and you turn around and you're like, that's not the guy I want. It's not your choice.
Dumbass.
I also want to point out, if you want other people, okay, hold on a sec. Where's the list of guys that they've tried to give you the last 5 years and you booed them out of the building? Yeah. Roman Reigns, you gave up on Kevin Owens, you've given up on half these internet. Cesaro, while I think maybe it's also part of his injury history is why they're worried about it, he gets damn near no reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, what do you need?
Okay,
what more do you want from me?
Eric Bischoff's book, which one of these days I'm going to give to you, Leroy, and I want you to read it, and I want you to talk about it on the show. It's called Controversy Creates Cash. In this business, it doesn't matter if you were a good guy or a bad guy. If people are willing to pay to see you, that's why I don't get why the fans hate. We're like, oh, get rid of Roman Reigns. Then stop booing him. He got a reaction. That's why he was on TV.
And he's gonna
you get pulled from TV when no one's reacting. When Otis is getting this much coverage on the internet, which, by the way, Vince McMahon, he's a billionaire for a reason. He's got people watching Otis tags on Twitter.
Oh, hell yeah.
When Otis gets this much thing, Vince is like, well, time to put him back on TV there, guys. And whether or not that's the correct decision or not, we don't know. Nothing against your boy here, but whether or not that's the correct decision has yet to be determined when he finally decides to cash in on whatever he's going to do. But for the love of God, people, if you don't like someone, stop talking about them. This business is based on who gets the most talking.
And guess what? They're talking about
stupid, and they figure, oh, if I whine about it, somebody's going to care. They don't. We don't.
No, they do care, but they care about it in a positive way because it's wrestling.
Well, very true, but at the same time, they don't care about it in the same way that they expect somebody to.
Prime example here, bringing another sport into it. Bryce Harper has become a home run hitter. He signed a $300 million plus deal with the Philadelphia Phillies. And he is now a home run hitter. Whereas his early years, his MVP years, he was hitting, 250, 260? I mean, his average was in the 300s.
Yeah, consistent.
It was up there. But now, what is the show, for better or for worse? It is strikeout or home run. So he's trying to hit the long ball.
Living or dying by the three, baby, like we say in basketball.
Every sport now is
the
long
ball.
What
don't you do?
Hockey, because you can't see the puck. And I'm from the hockey area.
You can see the puck.
You can see the puck.
I'm not going to get into it. You can't see it on TV. I'm not going to get into it because you can't see the goddamn puck.
I don't know. If you got a TV like mine, yeah, you can see it.
Shut up.
Well, it's 65 inches.
Hey,
the puck
we didn't
is
ask you all that.
Hey.
Here's my thing, and this is going to be somewhat me going down to this and down to the wire here. Otis brings in ratings, and whether or not you people believe it on the internet, the numbers show. SmackDown raised their number in the second hour. People didn't get bored. And by the way, the Otis match was promoted in the first hour. So people obviously tuned in to see the ending.
Definitely.
Which was Otis.
Yeah.
He steals the show.
And bottom line, being from Superior, we're just proud. Yeah. We're proud that somebody has this kind of the work ethic to reach the top and to present himself in a way and to continue to work hard and not forget where he came from and just to be himself. And I hope that's the major takeaway that people get from this is that he's himself.
I think it's like everybody from Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yeah, so let's appreciate,
especially up here in the Twin Ports, are proud of that. But
in a business,
it's been a while.
In a business with all the gimmicks, let's appreciate the genuine and real people that we get every now and then, and this is one of them. So we're proud, and I'm obviously overjoyed that I personally know him. He's a great guy, and there's nobody more deserving. I think the amount of work he's put in.
When I heard the stories,
nobody more deserving.
When I heard the stories of him and Tucky putting up the ring, taking down the ring. Look, I have traveled across multiple states. I've set that thing up. It ain't. Willie's done it too.
That shit is not light.
It is
tough.
not for the faint of heart. You will feel that for a week after. I'm not joking. Okay. So
okay, that it doesn't help that they said, hey, you have a half an hour to tear this ring down, and we got it done in a little over 20 minutes.
So Jimmy, we're at the poorhouse. We're at the poorhouse in downtown Minneapolis on a Thursday night, right?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
No, it wasn't on a Thursday night. That was on a Friday.
It was a Thursday.
The show?
Yeah.
No, that was in the middle of the week.
Really? Was it on Friday?
Yeah, it was on the weekend.
Friday night.
It was a weekend.
So anyway, it's a nightclub. They got a DJ coming in. Meanwhile, we're helping set up and work a wrestling show right before the DJ. We get told, by the way, y'all got 30 minutes before the DJ sets up. So from 9 o'clock to 9:30, we have to take down the whole wrestling ring, get it in the truck, lock up the truck, and be the hell out the doors. And if it weren't for Willie and Jason getting stopped by drunk people in the streets, you should
We'd
just
have
not
been done
go
a
with
lot
the pole, by
sooner.
the way. I don't know why
I
you
couldn't
didn't stop.
do that because I didn't want to get a lawsuit for the company.
That's fair. But my whole point is if you take away the 10 minutes that Jason and Willie had to stop for drunk people on the side of the street, 17 minutes we had that ring down and in that truck.
Hustling and bustling, baby.
Mind you, those ring posts are not light at all.
my
What
God,
would you
they
say
are
about
heavy.
210?
Oh, God.
Those are solid steel, right?
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
it's solid steel.
So it's
Mind
me-
you,
All it
mind you,
takes
I'm
is one
carrying-
Willie. It just
I'm
takes one
carrying
Willie.
them by
mind you,
myself.
Willie and I go to an event at Turtle Lake. We set up the ring. Then we also take down the ring. So that's 2 times. Then the very next freaking day, I'm up at 7 a.m. going to another freaking venue in my hometown to set up the same ring I just took down less than 12 hours ago. And I took it down 12 hours after I put it up. In 2 days, I 4 times I moved that damn thing.
And then got
All right,
up and
all
went
right,
to
all right.
work the next day.
Quit whining. But I gotta get his.
Uphill both ways.
I gotta do this.
In the snow
What a minute.
with the boner.
But I do it. That was just Willie. That's all he has a problem.
Ouch.
But I think the most interesting part about that first time that we did it, the guys that normally do it looked at us and asked us, "Have you guys
you
done
ever
this
done this
before?"
before?
Nope. This is the first time do it. They were impressed and saying, "You
Yeah.
can do this for us
So
anytime."
going back to my point,
I think that's
So
great.
going back to my point, when you think about the fact that you wrestle for 20 minutes in a tag team match like Heavy Machinery did, you wrestle dark matches, you cut promos, you do whatever, and then you stay after for a good 20 minutes to a half hour to take down the ring with the ring crew who are not shown on TV, by the way, and then you get in the car and you still have a 2-hour drive to the next town.
Not to mention you shoot the shit with the crowd that's still around in the building. All your fans, you still stay in character. You still,
In a world where work ethic doesn't matter anymore, and this is my shout out, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant.
hell yeah.
In a world where workouts where work ethic doesn't mean anything anymore because of Twitter, because of social media, your boy there, Otis, is putting in about as much work as he doesn't even need to. He puts in as much work as he believes he needs to in order to feel like he gets to that peak. I mean, here's a guy who, let's be honest, I mean, and you've told me off camera, I'm not trying to get into any more stories, but you've told me he's probably not the most quote unquote personable human being. And he's not overly shy, but he's not like the most over the top eccentric person.
For sure, yeah.
But here's a guy who is probably and again, I don't know, this is all me guessing. He's probably shaking hands with everybody in catering, and that's not a joke because they're called steaks and steaks and wings. He's probably
he loves that food, man.
Well, he does, but the thing is like here's a guy who, in my opinion, he ain't gonna forget
I can bet on that.
anybody
Yeah.
who did anything for him.
He's appreciative.
If you set up catering, he's going to look at you and say thank you. And again, in an age where I don't think work ethic matters anymore to a lot of people.
Everybody feels entitled to something.
Exactly. I don't think Otis has ever one time in his life felt entitled to a damn thing.
Yeah, he's worked hard. Can you imagine his parents trying to put food on his plate? They worked hard. He comes from a hard-working background. I mean, that's kind of the area we live in. People hard-working area. We're blue-collar, Midwest.
So anyway, back
Or
to the
topless.
Yeah, fair enough. So anyway,
Hopefully.
back to the topic.
Spring break.
I think it's going to be the most interesting cash in because for the first time, it's an actual quote unquote still tag team guy holding the briefcase. I think it's going to be the most interesting cash in yet, and I mean that personally.
And I think
Outside of Edge's first time because nobody saw that coming.
I think it'll be a successful catch in because the last few I looked at when they were doing who cashed in, and they had quite a few cash-ins, and they had a couple slip-ups.
Yeah.
And then they had quite a few that actually worked.
Yeah.
So I think it's in that area that they're going to let them cash it in. And if they cash it in as the tag team titles, that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's first time, and it'll be great. It'll be a huge pop. And
So many firsts in wrestling we feel like we can't get anymore. And if Otis can give me a first in wrestling, then he's got my support for the rest
I'd
of
love
my
if
career,
he came back up here with it too, and
Oh,
that
that'd
would
be some fun.
to get a chance to say hi to him and say, "Oh my
boy.
God,
That'd be some fun.
I'd be like dad of the year with my kids if they get to him.
So anyway, from one super athletic big man to another, our next card drawn here today is as of right now, he I think is still injured. People have noticed recently. Samoa Joe is doing commentary for live TV, whether or not it's out of necessity because of the crack in the earth. Big Show still being down. Seriously, somebody go lift the guy up, please. I mean, good lord.
Do we have anything big
Need
enough to
more
lift him
heavy
up?
machinery.
It's like a turtle. It's like a turtle on his back. Come
Right?
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so difficult.
They're like,
But
I like
anyway,
turtles.
so
He's on his back and we're screwed.
exactly.
How does that work?
I don't know. But anyway, Samoa Joe, to me, I think Samoa Joe has actually thrived as a commentator because Samoa Joe is one of those guys that he's a no-nonsense, no BS kind of guy. You're going to get commentary out of him that's real.
He's got
And
personality.
well, and that's it. And that's it. When someone comes over to the desk, you're not going to intimidate Samoa Joe.
No.
You're not. Samoa Joe is a 300-pounder who can fly, who flat out is about as real in this sport as you can get because when he hits you, he gonna hit you.
Yeah. For as long as I've been watching Samoa Joe, he's always had head issues. For as long as I've been watching him, he's always had head issues. Okay, just stop messing with the head's not something to mess with. Okay, so from somebody who has a lot of concussions, don't mess with the head. Okay, stay where you are, play your part, do some things here and there off the commentator booth, but stay there, man. Worry about your health. You're good there. Get paid.
Corey Graves was given, I think, a 3-year deal down in NXT after he got his second concussion. And they said, we're going to make you a ring announcer. They gave him a shot, and now I think he's the best announcer in WWE. Because, and by the way, my girlfriend is going to hate me for saying this, but she enjoys watching him, whether she wants to admit it or not, because every time she watches him, she goes, I really hate Graves. I'm like, yeah, but you keep listening to the commentary, which is all WWE gives a shit about. So, but it's just one of those things where it's like, this is the wrestling business. Much like I think it was Willie who brought up Becky's going to be able to make money no matter what she does.
Oh, yeah.
She can sell merch, whatever. Samoa Joe has had a very successful career. He's wrestled in Ring of Honor. He's wrestled in Impact back when they were TNA, when they were actually successful. He's wrestled. He's wrestled all over the world. He's wrestled for every big name. He's been in WWE. He's had his moments in the sun. Not every moment ends with a world title. Okay, for those of you who don't know, you ever notice that when they bring up the Intercontinental title, it's more than a dozen Hall of Famers held the Intercontinental title? You don't hear that with the world title. Because in this business, to be great, you don't need the championship. It helps, don't get me wrong. But Otis, for crying out loud, is getting TV ratings and he's getting people to watch and is getting put in the main event, and he don't have the belt. He doesn't. They looked at him and said, you don't have the belt. You don't look. No offense to your boy Otis here. He don't look like Drew McIntyre, who is 6'5", 280 something, built like a freaking old school champion. That's a guy who on looks alone is going to get a push. Mm-hmm. Drew's earned it. Don't get me wrong, but Samoa Joe could get an opportunity. He could fight his way through it, and in my opinion, I just want to see Samoa Joe on TV, whether he's talking, whether he's wrestling. I've loved Samoa Joe since day one, and he's always been entertaining. He always has.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I grew up on back in the day. I mean, the announcers that I heard, was Vince and it was Jesse the Body.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to seeing a wrestler that somebody used to wrestle behind that.
No offense to Byron Saxton.
Oh yeah,
you ain't Samoa Joe.
But yeah, I love that aspect just because like the announcer says one thing, that's all he's been doing, but he's a wrestler and he's an announcer now. He has all those little things like Jerry the King Lawler. He knew what was going on at the ring. He knew what the wrestler was thinking sometimes, so he could go on that knowledge, and it was good.
It gives you more of an in-depth commentary.
Yeah, yes. And it's great.
Instead of just watching, he puts you mentally in the ring instead of just visually.
Yeah.
And Samoa Joe does a great job at that.
He's really descriptive.
Yep. Well, going back to what's now going on in the show, we're going to recap a couple of things here for you. Right now, we have 2 vacant championships in the Big Show, and sorry, Big Show, I know you're still on the ground here, but I'm going to.
He can't hear you.
That's fair.
He's still out.
Yeah. Anyway, last I checked, it was like an ostrich. Like according to the news, it's like an ostrich's head's like stuck in the ground too. It's really weird. But
just hope the sun doesn't draw out that spandex.
Right, exactly. But anyway, as of right now,
that'd be bad.
As of right now, WWE has 2 vacant championships due to the crack in the earth. Sami Zayn is no longer the Intercontinental Champion. That has been taken from him due to injury from the crack. And the Cruiserweight Championship, Jordan Devlin is currently stuck in Ireland because the crack literally is like right over the ocean, so like you can't get over that.
Well, yeah.
But anyway,
No travel.
so there's a current Cruiserweight tournament going on, and that tournament is Japanese style, actually, Super Junior way. Everyone gets 3 matches against everyone in their group, and the best records move on. That tournament has, in a way, concluded. As of right now, we are moving forward with the tournament. Instead of one-on-one Group A and Group B winners going against each other, we have a triple threat match to determine the new interim Cruiserweight champion on NXT. It's hard to say quickly, but El Hijo de Fantasma, who is the newest signee from Mexico in WWE.
Well done, Zach.
He won his Group B, I believe. Really gotta hurt if you're Akira Tozawa. You win 2 matches, and then due to everything happening below you, all of a sudden you lose 1 match and you're out of the tournament. You're just done. It's insanity. And then in the other group, due to a victory by Drake Maverick, who again was released shortly before the tournament, but WWE has allowed him to compete in the tournament. Whether that's kayfabe or not, I don't know, but in my opinion, when you see all the video packages they put into Drake Maverick, when you look at all the screen time they've given him, I don't know if Drake's going to get his job back or not, but I think he is because of how much screen time they've given him. He's been given an absolute amazing amount of time. But so Drake won. It's now a tie between him and Jake Atlas at the top, and we now have a triple threat match that'll be happening for the Cruiserweight Championship of the world, the interim. I apologize to Jordan Devlin. You are the champion, but you are currently stuck in Ireland, so obviously he's going to have something to say about that when he gets back. But overall, been a really fun tournament. A lot of good stories. Really cool to see. I think Phantasma's been, no pun intended, fantastic. I think
Oh, definitely. I agree with you there. Yeah.
He's such a built wrestler. He's got the body that Vince likes, but he's also from Mexico, so there's that Mexican luchador in him. Akira Tozawa was a great Japanese representation. Actually, no, I apologize. It's a triple threat match between Fatal 4? No, I apologize.
There was 3.
No, it's a triple threat match to determine Group A victory. Group B is Phantasma. So Phantasma is waiting on the victor of Jake Atlas, Kushida, who's also 2-1 in the tournament, and then Drake Maverick. And by the way, Kushida has been great since he's been in WWE. Loved him in Japan. I feel like he hit a peak there. Wasn't much left for him to do. He came over, he did something else, and that's been fantastic. The Intercontinental one is over on SmackDown. A little quick note here before Leroy, can you get the updated standings on the Intercontinental match there? While Leroy looks that up, little adjustment here. AJ Styles has been officially traded to SmackDown. He is now officially a member of the SmackDown roster, and of course, his first opening round match was against Shinsuke Nakamura. And that was an absolute classic. Love it. Leroy, you want to just update the standings quick there?
Well, that...
See where we're going.
That right now, it's... one sec here. Yeah. I believe if I remember right, it's going to be...
Sheamus lost to Hardy. I know that.
Yeah.
Who else in the tournament?
Sheamus lost to Hardy. So it's going to be Hardy against Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
And then it's Evan Rose had AJ and... hold on. I love how the internet works so well.
Hey man, that crack in the earth is screwing up everybody's internet. Elias. Okay, yeah, I forgot about Elias had an opening round victory.
The match in it was Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak,
yep.
Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, AJ and Shinsuke, then Corbin and Elias.
All great matches. Well, anyway, we have hit number 13. That's kind of it for us. We want to thank.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. That's all of them.
I thought we were talking about the last ride too.
We'll get to that.
We'll get that
next time.
All right.
Because it's only about 5 episodes, so I feel like if you wait till the third one, it'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you all so much for listening. If you made it this far in the podcast, wonderful. Jimmy, thank you for all the wonderful inside stories. Great to have you, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome on the show anytime, Willie. Great to get you on here for a first time, and certainly will not be your last time on the show.
Oh no, I'll be back for more obscenities and commentary.
All right. Well, once again, this is Zach from 13 Cards Subject to Change. Leroy as well.
Leroy, yep.
Look us up on Podomatic.com. We're also on iTunes and Spotify, and our YouTube page is now growing a little bit too. Subscribe to us on YouTube. 13 Cards Subject to Change
we
podcast.
Got, 80 followers and likes on Facebook.
Like us on
So
Facebook as well.
it's
So
doing good.
thank you all very much, and you all have a great day. And again, the crack in the earth will hopefully be fixed very soon.
See you later.
Ciao, baby.